Good morning, horse players, and welcome to the road to the NHC. I'm Scotty McKeever, and we're going to get to work and take another step closer to Las Vegas, Nevada. We're breaking down races from Gulfstream Park, Belmont at Aqueduct, and Pimlico. We're covering both feeders and qualifiers alike. And it's not just about picking winners. Of course, it's about finding the best value and the horse that gives you the biggest bang for the buck. We're going to show you how to do that. 2022 NHC champ, my partner, David Harrison. David, we got to get to Vegas again. Well, you and I are going to Vegas for sure. We still have a little bit of work to do, though, because we only have one entry apiece.
Yeah, we've got, and you're looking at, we're only in May, right? So we've got a long journey to that road. It's a long road. And it's a long and grinding, and not long grinding and winding road. But there's plenty of time. We hope to bring as many people on our train to Vegas, or our trip to Vegas, that helping to possibly do well in the feeders here and then into the qualifiers. So all it takes is $18, and you could possibly get into the qualifier, save a little bit of money, and then if not, you can enter $75, one ticket, two tickets. So it's affordable. From a guy like me who comes from a limited bankroll, it's a great opportunity to go to Vegas where the big money's on the line. So looking forward to it.
So, of course, with the feeder, we're covering races 3 through 5 at Pimlico, and we're covering races 1, 2, and 3 at Gulfstream Park. They make up 6 races. Like David was saying, it's $18 to get in. Make sure that you are a member of the NTRA. Just go to ntra.com, $50 a year. And then just in case you get in, you're able to get to Las Vegas. So you have to be a member of the tour. For $18, top 20% are going to get into the qualifier. It's $75 today, so it saves you money if you get in. We're going to help you with your picks. We're going to handicap those 6 races from Pimlico and Gulfstream Park. And, of course, in 2022, if you're new to the show, David Harrison, my partner, won the National Handicapping Championship. It's the biggest event in all of horse racing in North America, and not an easy thing to do. David did it, and a lot more than that as well, too. So we are qualified to help you. And, of course, we want you to make your own selections as well. We're here to just kind of break down the races, talk about them, and then the chat. We get some very talented people and like-minded people and EquinEdge community that are here to help you as well. So feel free to join us today if you want to learn. Also, we have coaching classes. You can go to EquinEdge.com. These coaching classes are completely free. We do Wednesdays and Thursdays. Justin does Wednesdays. I do Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And there is so much to learn if you're new. We had a few new people in the class on Thursday, David, and it was great. A lot of questions and stuff. And just like any new platform, there's a lot to learn.
Oh, absolutely. And when I was first introduced to EquinEdge a couple of years ago, after I met Scotty at the Eclipse Awards dinner, it really changed with using it 2.5 years now. I've become so comfortable with it. It speeds up the handicapping process. And listen, we all have busy lives. We have most of us have families, stuff going on. You want to play, but sometimes we don't have the time to put in the couple of hours that we used to spend handicapping a card. And if you have EquinEdge, you just accelerates the handicapping process. And that's why I feel it's so valuable for me as a horse player, and helped me win. Actually, I did well yesterday in the Preakness qualifier on horse tourneys, and I didn't spend a lot of time. I kind of speed handicap for the show I did yesterday with Mike, and it was using EquinEdge, just accelerated, and it got me to play before it closed at 3-something, or else I wouldn't have had the time. So kudos to the product again. It helped me get a big score yesterday. So
not only is the information so good, but what new people don't understand, it's not a tout service. These are quick tools, very accurate in tools. All of our metrics are from 1 to 100, 100 being the best. And you've got breeding metrics. You've got pace. We have the top pace number in all of horse racing. The race simulator is something that's never been seen in horse racing. That's pretty amazing. The ticket generator, you can generate tickets in seconds. So there's a lot to it, but it's still, at the very end of the day, it's still subjective. And that's what we want it to be. There's skill involved. and that's everything. So nobody's telling you what to do here. Some wonderful metrics that help speed things up. You and I both know we can confidently play races with EquinEdge very, very fast. Like that was the original point of me creating EquinEdge in the beginning, was that it took too long to process all the stats.
Exactly. And with me, you're looking at a couple of races. If I go back to the NHC a couple of years ago, first time turf, horses first time turf, and you're looking up at the screen. There's 6 minutes to post, and like this is a race that could score a nice price. I got to be in this. And you go through, you look at the pace metric, you look at the GSR. And you don't have to go on all these other sites like Equibase or what have you and look up the breeding. It takes, you want to look up breeding on 6 first-time starters on turf. It'll take you an hour to go through and look at the lineage and figure out, who's got the best turf breeding. Here, we've got a GSR. So it just saves so much time. It's invaluable.
Yep. In fact, over at Gulfstream Park, race number 1, speaking of that, we have a horse that is the top GSR, the EquinEdge long shot. First of all, we know how deadly first-time starter EquinEdge long shots are. It also has the top GSR, so we'll see. It doesn't have a big win percentage, but there's another first-time starter that's the EquinEdge second pick that also is 35% to win. This horse is 9-5 right now in the opener from Gulfstream Park. That is a first-time starter. So we'll go over those horses as well. Those races 1 through 3 at Gulfstream and 3 through 5 at Pimlico. So I think we're ready to start it off. Why don't we get over to Pimlico and look? And by the way, we're going to have some live races. We'll have live races both from Pimlico and Gulfstream, as the Stronach Group is gracious enough to always give us the ability to show you live streaming. So excited about that. Pimlico race number 2 is coming up in 13 minutes. We might show you that live as well if we have time. But let's see what kind of ground we make up. But how about we get out to Pimlico race number 3, David? Let's
sure.
Let's do that. By the way, big shout out to Patrick, who's in one of my favorite places, Napa Valley. I'm jealous, Patrick. Wiz, what up? Hi, Oldie. Hi, Kent. And I'm sure the chat room's going to get blazing here soon. And so as people get their bearings, it's early on the West Coast. So. All right, race number 3, David. Let's run the race simulator in this race. We've got an allowance optional claiming of 40,000. It's a non-winners of 2 race, and let's run this race. Here we go. All right, there we go. So first thing I noticed is the 4 and the 5 are way back there. So I don't like to play horses that have to come from so far back, David, because they're usually at the mercy of the pace.
Correct. And Pimlico, over the years, this surface has been, you can say what you want. It's the people, horse players disagree whether it's speed favoring because of tight turns. And I've heard people say that's ridiculous. But to me, I've had good success betting Pimlico either on the lead or close to the lead rather than dead stone closers. This is going back years. And again, you can't generalize each year. The track surface can change, weather conditions, what have you. But when I handicap Pimlico, I want to be close to the pace. I don't want a dead stone closer with all things being equal. Now, you can get a contentious, just rapid, crazy early pace and you could have a meltdown. But in this race, you've got Point Doom. Well, most likely have to lead with the 88 pace metric advantage. But again, we've got to look for value in these contests. And, I may not include some likely horses who are likely to win here because they're not enough value in my eyes. If you look at last week's qualifier, you had 3 or 4 races early with long shots that I couldn't have come up with. And it's just the guy you're looking for the best value. So I'm going to use the same approach here. I mean, it looks, in my opinion, there's 2 main contenders here. And let's get to the first one, the 6 for Stronzano, for Jamie Ness. Now, Jamie Ness is a 20% trainer and has been for years in the Middle Atlantic region. This horse in his last race, same level, was really tough, but didn't win. Finished second at less than even money. It looks like 3.5. Bless you. And if you go back, this horse, in the last 4 consecutive races was favored. and the highest price that he's been is even money. And he's only had success in the winner's circle in one of those races. So the last 4 races, he's lost 3 as a prohibitive favorite. So this is normally, Scotty, a horse that I'm going to try to beat, especially as the favorite. But with that being said, the horse I had interest in is the 3, the Scotty's second pick, Sagrada Ray. Second race off the layoff. The comeback race was good at an optional 30. This horse basically was stalking the pace, took the lead coming down the stretch, had a bump, and just basically, tired late to finish second. So with that race off the claim now, you've got a claim by Kieran McGee, and his numbers are 22% first time off the claim. They're good enough for me. I think with some improvement, this horse has got positional speed. It can either, be right near the lead or stalk a couple of lengths off. And it looks like I'm predicting, or I'm hoping for a little bit of improvement. So that's why I landed on Sagrada Ray here, Scotty. So how'd you see this race?
Well, it's not that I don't like this horse. And in fact, the fact that Kieran McGee is protecting this horse after a claim and he's 22% off of claims, that's a pretty high number. Horse had a little bit of trouble last time out. My issue with this horse is it seems to be, I know it looks like this horse rated a bit here, but you can see in the second call is a length and a half back, and it did get the lead here. I don't know that it's going to be part of a very fast pace. It needs to be near the lead for its best. And Point Doom is very, very fast. And Point Doom, based on the race simulator, is going to have a pretty easy lead. And so the 3 is going to have to come from behind. At least at the first call, the race simulator is saying that Sagrada Ray is going to be a 2.5 lengths back. So Point Doom, let's talk about the 9 real quickly. This horse, look at the GSR. When it went on the turf for the first time and it showed some speed, it dropped 25 points in GSR. This horse wanted no part of the turf. And now this horse is going to have an easy lead, wants the distance. Look at the GSR. It's going back up 25 points. This 9 is going to be super, super dangerous. I can tell you that. And by the way, don't look at the live odds. For whatever reason, I know the Preakness is tomorrow. Sometimes Tote will start giving you odds on all the races, even though they're not the next races coming up. So ignore these odds, the live odds. Those are not live odds. But then I think the 9 is super dangerous to go gate to wire. But the race simulator has the 6 horse Stronzino just winning easily. Horse is 8-5 on the morning line. I think I personally like 6-9. So I am going to go with the 6 horse, although I think the 9 is dangerous to go gate to wire.
Okay, so you're on the Jamie Ness bandwagon. He's got both engines. So he's got 1 speed and 1 stalker. It looks in a pretty good spot here. But I'm concerned about the 6. I wouldn't necessarily say money burner, but only 1-2 races out of 10, and 3 of the last 4 failed as a favorite. So that's why it's a horse that I can't land on for that reason.
Yep, no, understandable. The 9 could go gate to wire.
Yeah.
I've become very much a trip handicapper, but also horses styles. That's why I feel like the race simulator and the pace number are so valuable to see. And then you look at a horse's style. And so when I look at Sagrada Ray, although I respect your handicapping, obviously, it does look like the type of horse that needs to be on the lead for its best. And the 9's faster, and there's going to be a fast pace in here. The 9 has an 88 pace number. So I'm looking, and then the race simulator. See, here's the thing about the race simulator that maybe a lot of people don't know, and David, maybe you don't know too, is the race simulator is gonna give you, if everything goes perfect, then this is where the 6 is gonna land. Okay, well, there's gonna be a lot of pace, and so the 6 could win this race just going away, and so I'm looking at the horses that are finishing, and there's only 1 horse finishing, and that's the 6. So I'm gonna.
We'll lock Scotty McKeever in on the 6 Stronzino, and I am on the 3 Sagrada Ray.
All right, let's head out to race number 4. What's up, Dave?
Hey, Dave. Thanks for joining.
All right, let's see here. Race number 4. Let's doesn't look like there's anybody I can just automatically throw out. Okay, so they're going 5 furlongs on the turf. Consider that. And then, so it looks like the 6 and the 8 are both fast. I'm going to run to the first call real quickly, and then we're going to click on the 6 before we run the entire race. And let's look at this. So you can see, David, Billionaires Row, the EquinEdge long shot is very, very fast. And this one seems to need the lead. You know, one of the tells for me, David, for horses that need the lead, and that is when they have an outside post and they still go and shoot for the lead. And so this one needs the lead. And ironically, now speed holds, obviously. Speed holds on the synthetic over at Gulfstream Park, going 5.5 or 5 furlongs, and speed holds 5 and 5.5 furlongs on the turf. And this is what the 8 needs too. So when I look at their class, they're both around the same class and they both need the lead. I mean, clearly the 8 needs the lead. And the 6 horses on the inside. So these two, which happen to be 2 of the EquinEdge picks, are going to be dueling. Now, one of them could clear, but you can see, like, it looks like the 2 and the 4 and the 10 and the 11 are really, really closing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Scotty, I've got a little history here with a horse, and and you know me, I'm like loyal to my horses when I've had them, and I just feel kind of bummed for Billionaires Row, the 6 horse. Just a quick story. This horse is basically how my weekend went at the NHC. This was March 14th. This was an NHC race, and I really liked the steady work pattern on Billionaires Row. Munnings, first time to PETA, looked like it was going to have speed, and the scenario just popped right out of the gate. The scenario popped out just as I predicted. Horse would go for the lead. Looked like he was cruising. He had a 2-length lead coming past like the 8th pole. And I'm like, I'm home. I'm getting a winner, getting off the schneid. And then, like the way my entire weekend went, late he started tiring and he got caught at the wire. And okay, there goes it. But that was a good, debut race. His horse rode speed and looked pretty impressive. Just got late. And then, but the concern was now dropped to a maiden 40, but similar SOR that day, 5.5. And just kind of erred at 4 to 5. Now, first time turf, it's a Munnings. If I look at the GSR, I've got a GSR that's a little surprising to me.
Yeah.
So that is dropped a 47 compared to the last time.
And you know what I can tell you too? What's interesting, and it's a completely different algorithm. I'm on another screen right now. I'm looking at the new GSR that we've been working on, and it also has the 6 horse actually as the lowest GSR.
Right. But it does come up as a Scotty long shot. I do agree with you. The 6 and the 8 may battle on the front end, but I'm going for value. I'm going to cross my fingers that this horse doesn't hate turf, and I know it's a reach. But that's the part of the NHC contest. You've got to look for value. I'm not saying this is the most likely winner, but to me, this horse is probably going to be the best value of horses that may have a chance to win. Paco is more aggressive. He's aggressive jock. He's probably going to gun. And if he gets enough of a lead, the horse might get brave and hold on. So I'm banking on that scenario. And so I'm going to land on Billionaires Row for Mike Trombetta and Live Oak Plantation here.
The Paco is aboard the 6, like you were saying. Do you know Trombetta and Paco are 39% in 64 races win percentage? I mean, that's incredible. This horse is 7-2 on the EE morning line, and it's also the EquinEdge long shot. But again, it draws on the inside of a very, very, very fast horse in Bourbon Boss. Something's got to give here. Unless for whatever reason Bourbon Boss was to break bad, it's going to be very, very difficult for the 6 to win, in my opinion. So, let's watch. I'm going to run this here. So 6 and 8 here. The 9 and the 3 will be sitting good spots. So then we go to the second call. They all start backing up, and the 8 starts pulling away a little bit. But then all of a sudden they start coming, and here come the closers. The 3 is a super interesting horse, War Humor. This one fits in class. And it really improved last time out on the turf off of the layoff. And so this horse can rate as well. Like, I don't know where that came from, but obviously the horse really improved. It was at this level. it's an interesting horse. It's one that I would consider as well. Jockey trainer combination of Thiggins and Boyce is they've won 1 in 6 races, so it's just okay. Tool Pusher, I worry a little bit that the horse will be too far back, but this one's going to be closing. But the 3 horse really sits a nice trip. Incinerator, the 7 horse. I just feel like this one's best races maybe are behind them. And also, I think this horse needs to be near the lead. Yeah, it does. But this horse is not without a look. I'm stalling a little bit, Dave, but I'm can the 8 hold on? I don't know. I think the 6 is going to press the 8 a little bit too much. So I know I'm going to play away from the 8. What about a horse like this one that already ran good at Pimlico on May 10th, going 5 furlongs, and 5.5 seems to be really, really good. This horse seems to be doing good, seems to like the track. That one might not be a bad one as well. The EquinEdge long shot, Island and Light. I mean, second race off of a layoff, off of a pretty long layoff. And that one faced 11 horses last time out at 26%. And but we're going 5 furlongs here. The distance is shorter, so I'm not sure that helps this horse. I'm going to take a chance with the 3 horse.
Okay. So you like the 3, who's a closer. So the way I approach this too for real money wagering, I'm using the 6 in the contest, but I usually use a speed and then a closer or 2. Right, yeah. To try to figure, in either case, the scenario that I'm covering 2 different scenarios, speed and closer. The horses, and I agree with you with the 11. I mean, off the second race off a layoff today, this horse was flying in the last race, just didn't get up. And that's over the course at Pimlico. That was May 10th. That's, just less than a week ago. So, and from a July 24th layoff, so maybe this horse gets the pace with the 6 and the 8 battling. And what I like about the outside posts here is he's not going to encounter any traffic closing, right? He'll tuck back. Well, he doesn't have to tuck in. I mean, he can just sit back in the field, get a good position, and then swing to the outside, coming down the stretch, and make that run. So that's why a lot of cases I'll play the outside closer, the outside post closer, rather than the inside post closer. Less chance of a trouble trip, in my opinion. And I'm surprised, Scotty, you didn't mention a reference at all, Zip Line to Heaven, the 10 horse for Trembetta. This horse is off a layoff. May need this race. That's the concern, but did win off a similar layoff last year from November 23rd, from November 23 to May 31st, came back and scored in a closing fashion at almost 5-2. Has a good work on April 28th. So, but besides the 6, I would use the 10 and 11 with the 6 if I'm playing exactas and again, if you think value, you look at the board, the 10 or 11 might be worth a win bet also. So
I just think that, first of all, the 10 is only 4% to win. I think that's a very low number. The other thing that I worry about is the 8-1 on the EE morning line. I worry about that. The horse is getting bet and it has no speed. When I run the race simulator, horses that are so far back don't win very often. So I'm looking at a horse that's going to be, closer to the speed, especially at 5 furlongs. I think if this was 5.5 furlongs, Zip Line to Heaven would be a major, major player. And maybe it still is with the 8 and 6 horse dueling. Maybe it moves this horse up, but it certainly deserves to be in the talk for sure. I agree. So,
okay, Scotty, the loading in the gate.
All right, so let's just watch race number 2 since we can.
They're off. Squeeze Sutton, Susie, and Positive carry at the start. Mopo will get the first call out of the gate. And here is Software. Software, Mopo head-to-head for the lead. Super Willowa right there in 3rd position. Beast of Burden on the far outside, racing in 4th into the turn run. And next is Positive Protective Custody, who's racing on the inside as they round that turn, only 3 lengths on the front. More acceleration is now in between horses as they round the turn. Beast of Burden will settle on the outside. Loving Gaze is next in between horses as they make the turn down the back stretch. Sutton, Susie, Orange Silk, so far outside. Song Time riding the inside. Abundant Love is racing to the back of the pack. Here is My Brazilian Girl, also back there with Panama Canal and Positive Carry. So about 11 or 12 lengths will cover the entire bunch with a half mile
So
left to go.
the EquinEdge picks
Mopo
are
sets the
10,
tempo.
5, 13, you
Mopo
guys.
from Software by a length and a quarter. As Super Willie Boy
13 looks like sitting a great trip here.
Protective Custody down inside there.
Sure
in
does,
fourth,
doesn't
more
it?
acceleration.
Yeah, big price.
Loving Gaze out there 3 wide. My Brazilian Girl is
That's
starting
the
to rally.
EquinEdge long
The pink
shot.
cap becoming about 6 wide
Moving
as they
very
move to the
nicely.
top of the stretch with a quarter to go
Wow,
at
just
Pimlico.
cruising
picture
from the
changes now.
outside,
Mopo
right?
is under pressure.
Yeah.
Mopo
Look,
is
he's not
there,
even
but trying
asking,
to
and there
stay
is
on.
nobody
There's
coming.
He's
Super
going to
Willie
take the
Wah.
lead. I don't think he
Outside
catches
now
him.
to
He
contest
gets
the
the lead.
lead.
It's
And here
over.
is Super Willie Wah.
10's making a
Mopo
late
is there
move,
on the
but it's not
inside.
going to
He's
be
trying to come
enough.
back for more. My Brazilian
three's coming
Girl
back,
Oh, no, the
though.
Zero Horse is
still
hanging
has
tough,
a lot
Scotty.
to do.
Three's
Mopo's
going to come
game.
back.
Oh, Mopo's digging in. Mopo
Wow.
and Jose Ortiz. Mopo turns back Super Willie Wah.
Wow.
Then it was
You
Protective
know, the horse,
Custody
I
and
don't
My
know
Brazilian Girl.
if you want to call it a hang job, but it looked like the
Yeah.
horse, when it ranged up alongside, was either maybe getting a little tired or just hung, didn't want to go by.
Well, look, I mean, the 3 horse is the top pace number, and the pace just held there. So you gotta watch that top pace number. It's dangerous. And the 3 had an easy lead, and they weren't really going all that fast, and the horse had some left. And of course, in my opinion, had the best. Jose Ortiz's riding was serious confidence.
Yes. Ortiz has been on fire. He had a pretty good meet at Keeneland, and he's on fire.
All right, so
Wonderful.
race number 5 at Pimlico, David. Why don't we get to that? You ready? Let's run.
Yes.
This thing. Okay.
Let's go
Again,
race
don't look
five.
at these live odds, you guys. These are not accurate.
Right. So race 5, we got a 6 furlong sprint for maiden special weight, a $52,000 purse. And the one thing, I mean, as we watched the race simulator, to me, this looked like only between 2 horses, in my opinion. You know, the Baffert, Chipper, Privman, named after Jay Privman. I don't think Baffert, I know the respect he probably has for Jay, that he would name a horse who wasn't real good after a Jay Privman, who's a legend in our game. Bullet work out on May 8th. This horse is going to be a real short price with Tyler Pratt on. But however, did lose at even money. Ran second in an 8-horse field, had an outside post, and was a little, supposedly we have a race notes green, carried wide, drifted. So that outside post may not have helped. You got the outside post again, but a lot of times these horses will improve second time out. You got an education first start, or an introduction to the racing game. And if you look at the 4 Ennistown, off the layoff for Trombetta, decent race in the debut race on an off track at Belmont, at Aqueduct, and then tried Keeneland and ran a pretty decent second. And it looks like a pretty strong field. The only other horse I would probably mention, there's not, again, you got one first timer, and the first timer may be live. Gung Ho. Out of More Than Ready, maybe Turf Meant, but based on the steady works, I'm sure that they're not aiming to win this race, in my opinion. So I think I'm all over Privman here.
I'm in agreement with you as well. I think this horse wants turf, and it's only 1% to win.
Yeah,
it's 5-1 E morning line, suggesting the horse is going to get bet. But the 2 favorites are like Privman's 56% to win.
Yeah,
draws on the outside of the 4, who's very, very fast. These 2 horses are fast. The 2 horse might show a little bit of speed early on, but they're, it's a good post for Privman. Both these horses, your favorites, are off of layoffs. So,
right.
What do you think? How are you with layoff horses? Do you concern yourself with layoff horses?
When I will tell you this, yes, I do. However, when it comes to Baffert, that doesn't bother me. He's won off layoffs before many times. Yeah. And for some reason, Baffert's the king of Pimlico. So he many Pimlico days, he ships horses in and usually has a pretty good day. So I'm not worried about the layoff with Baffert. You look at that bullet workout on May 8th, this horse is probably ready to roll. And you're probably going to be 3 to 5.
I think this is going to be the 4 and the 7 at the top of the stretch. I think it's just going to be these two contending, and I pick a number. I don't know. Like,
right.
I mean, Trombetta's going to, he's good off the layoff. He's 15% off the layoff. Baffert is probably 25% off the layoff. Let's see, 27% first race back, and second lifetime start 31%. Just for post position alone, I'm going to go with the 7 Pribman. You?
Yeah, I'm all over Preakness. Yeah, I don't want anybody else here.
All right. Okay. So we have 21 minutes before we have to do 3 races at Gulfstream Park. So you have 21 minutes to race number 3. So you've got to get your feeder ticket in. It's a pick and pray, so you have to have that in ahead of time. And then Gulfstream Park race number 1 is in 39 minutes. So, okay. So are you ready to get out to race number 1 at Gulfstream?
Yes, let's do it, my friend.
Here we go. We got a maiden special weight. We have 2 first-time starters in the 4 and the 7. One of them is an EquinEdge long shot. It's a small field. I've got the 1 down here. I didn't think the 1 was a player. It's probably your top pick.
No. Again, I'm on board if you throw that one out. I'm not even that familiar with the breeding. These are it's a Texas bred, right? Out of Raceton. Yeah, that's kind of breeding I'm not familiar with. If I'm looking at the races, and again, these maiden specials for 2-year-olds, I avoid like the plague, to be honest with you. I like to watch the race for future wagering potential, see who gets a trip and, stuff like that. But, I mean, if you look at the top Scotty pick, Bowie, Delgado is a second start for Delgado. And that was a good race, the 4.5 furlong, made up some ground. If this horse runs back anything like that race, is probably going to be a likely winner. Street Player, in my opinion, also had a chance for Nolan Ramsey. Comes out of also a 4.5 furlong sprint in its debut race, April 18th. Now, this horse did show more speed than early speed than Bowie did. So this horse may get the jump here, but it's got the highest pace metric. So I think this horse, the Street Player, is dangerous. The other horse, the Scotty second pick, an ordinary first-time starter, hopefully, if you want to play him, he'll be extraordinary, not inordinary. And it's got a pretty decent bullet gate workout on May 9th in preparation for this race. So the way I looked at this race, Scotty, it was, to me, I'm going to either select between the 2, 3, or the 7. Vito's Wildcat could beat me. And this horse went off at 6 to 5, 7 to 5-ish last race, puts blinkers on, finished 4th, had a bump break. So that horse is a contender. But as far as value is concerned, I don't want 8 to 5 morning. To me, Bowie's a likely winner, but I'm going to land on Street Player for Nolan Ramsey, figuring that this horse may just wire this field at 5 furlongs.
Yeah, it's absolutely a factor when you're talking about speed, especially over at Gulfstream Park. I mean, this horse's first race was here, and it just didn't get the lead, and it seemed to need the lead. It does have a very low GSR. I don't like that. 5's got a low GSR. So I'm going to go away from the 3. I think the 3 is going to have the lead, but stop. I was really impressed with Bowie. I had only faced 3 other horses, but I was really impressed with how this horse actually was finishing at the end. And that was impressive to me. Zayas is aboard for Delgado. And I don't think Jaramillo got off the 2. But the jockey trainer combination of Delgado and Zayas, David, is 25%. So yeah. Vito's Wildcat, I mean, obviously this horse deserves a look as well. It faced 9 other horses. I like horses that face bigger fields. And let's see here. Fox is 22% with first-time starters. Second-time starters, 21%. I don't know. I personally, I don't know why you would take Jaramillo off of this horse.
Well, he puts on Zayas, right?
Yeah,
and
Zayas. I mean, he's 25% with Zayas, But I mean, Jaramillo, I'm sure didn't do anything wrong in that race. Did Jaramillo get off on purpose to ride the 6? I don't know. What about the 7 in ordinary? I mean, this horse is 35% to win for a first-time starter. It's the EquinEdge second pick. Gonzalez is super aggressive. You know, I only have one concern about the 7. I don't like the post. Like, look at where this horse is projected to be in the beginning of the race. Like, I know it's a straightaway, but horses don't do well in outside posts here on the one turn. And this horse could get carried wide on the turn. I have a feeling this horse is going to have to go very, very wide unless this horse, for whatever reason, is able to clear early. And Gonzalez is super aggressive. You know, I like to look at early works. When you look all the way back to like April, you know, 2 of 23, a bullet work here from the gate. Clearly the 7 is fast.
Right. And I just noticed too, Jack Sisterson, who I always thought was about a 10, 11% trainer. He's actually 22% with first timers.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign for this horse.
It is. Now, Valdero, the EquinEdge long shot, we always talk about first time starters. And Tim Shue is 0 for 4 with first time starters. You know, I'm not in love with this horse. I'll tell you why. The EquinEdge long shot first time starters are amazing, but I think it more tells me I don't like the 3 and the 5 because the EquinEdge long shot is always looking for 5 to 1 or above in morning line. So it couldn't choose the 2, it couldn't choose the 6, and it couldn't choose the 7. And so it decided to choose the 4 out of between the 3, 4, and 5. That's the way I'm looking at that. And then early on, the projection is the horse is going to be far back. So while I think the 4 could be in the money, I'm really looking at the 2, 6, or 7 as the winner. And I really wanted to take the 7, but I don't love the post. So for those reasons, I'm actually going to go with the 2 Bowie.
Okay. Going with the 2. I'm going to lock you in. Scotty McKeever on Bowie, and I'm on the 3 Street Player. Okay. We got 2 more to go at Gulfstream in the feeders.
Okay. Race number 2, maiden claiming $25,000. We have a field of 8 with the scratch of the 9 horse. Yankee Drummer is the favorite, but Reverend Moon is a horse to watch. A gold one, in fact, is a flat bet profit on this play. And 95 on the EE morning line is not one of the top EquinEdge picks, surprisingly, but it is very, very fast. And speed does well at Gulfstream Park, too, and all the way up into the 3rd call going into the stretch right now. But here comes the 5 and the 6, and even the 2 is making a little bit of a sneaky move. But I don't like that GSR for the 2. So I think this race is between the 1, 5, and 6.
Not giving my 8 any love, Scotty.
Yeah, sponge time. You know, I don't love the post. If you look here at the start too, look where the horse is projected to be. At the beginning of the race, this horse is projected to be wide and way back. It's just not a recipe for success. If this, you know what I mean? If the horse is drawn inside, but I think it's gonna be very difficult for the 8 to win this race. I think this horse is a player in this race. Absolutely, I agree. But I think I'm going to take the more tactical speed of both the 5 and the 6.
Yeah, Scotty, as far as I'm concerned, I had a little difficulty making a decision here. I narrowed it down to, I think Sponge Time dropping back from the 50 maiden back to this level, maiden 25. I just want to confirm the SOR of those races. So it's 42 SOR in that last race. So really a 44 SOR. So it's really not a drop in company. It's a drop in class. You know, claiming price.
That's why the SOR is so important. Absolutely. Like that 50,000 maiden claimer was basically the same as the 25,000 maiden claimer based on the SOR. And the horse didn't break good, but the horse broke 9th, didn't break very well. I don't think that, I don't think it had anything to do with anything. I think this horse just burned a lot of money. And so, yeah, but obviously this is not a great breaker as well. Look at the 2 times the horse broke good. It broke 2nd and 4th, 2 and 3 back, and look at it ran good. The horse is breaking from the outside, projected to be back early. It is the EquinEdge long shot. I mean, it's certainly a player, but I think it's got to overcome some obstacles.
Yeah. With that being said, I thought he was a contender here. If you look at 2 back on April 3rd, just missed. Got a decent pace that day from the 2 posts, and supposedly also hurt it out, so had a little bit of an excuse. So I'm thinking back to this level I mean, get it rapid. He didn't really fire last time out. Didn't close. So this horse is spotty. So I don't have much confidence. But the other horse I was deciding between was the 8, also the 5 Secret Bagent Man for Eddie Plisa, the Scotty's second pick. I mean, the horse just missed at maiden 17.5, but now if you're looking at the SOR, the Secret Bagent, that last race was a 36 SOR. So now stepping up to a 44. So it's a kind of a tough race for me, but I decided to land on the 5 Secret Bagent Man. I think if this horse repeats that last race, going to be tough. And I'm thinking the 2 mile and the 16th races may be a little long for this horse. If you look at the mile race, I think maybe the mile suits this horse the best. So I am going with the 5 Secret Bagent Man, the Scotty's second pick.
So I was going to go with that horse initially as well. And then I started really looking at that last race and I like it ran good, but that was a 36 SOR group. It faced a lot easier. The win percentage went up. And then I came over and looked at Yankee Drummer. I mean, this horse is the class of the race by far. It's not even close. And I have a note here on the first race off of a long layoff, post bad rail out. The horse still ran good and then was 44-1 last time out.
Yeah.
It ran so good 2 back. And now they're realistic. They're putting this horse in a spot where it can win. This is the first time they're putting this horse in a proper spot. This horse has been in over its head, low winning percentage trainer, finally putting, I hope the horse is doing okay because this is the spot. This horse should dominate these horses, in my opinion, if the horse is doing okay. A May 10th workout, May 4th workout, say that this horse is doing just fine. So I'm Yankee Drummer all day long.
Okay, so Scotty's on Yankee Drummer. And again, the horse, I do like the horse, don't get me wrong. But, to me, I think you're going to get a little bit of better value on Secret Bagent Man. And in my opinion, that's the key to these contests. So I'm always going to side with the value, little better price. And obviously, if I use the 5 Secret Bagent Man in the contest, which I will, I'll use the 8 as a backup and a win wager. So that's the way I usually approach. You can't decide on 2 horses. One gets in the contest, one for real money, and then hopefully we can break even at least.
Sounds good. All right, we got Gulfstream Park race number 3, and we have 9 minutes before race number 3. We timed this pretty good, David.
Yeah. Actually, we can play a quick game of poker here and handicap this race. So, yeah,
we got plenty of time.
Yeah.
We have a big favorite, what looks to be a big favorite in Worldly Beauty. We'll find out. 4 horses backing up, only 3% to win. I'm looking at this race for the first time, so I'm not.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, no idea. I must have looked at it because I scratched the 7 horse, so I must have given it a look. So, but I mean, based on the race simulator, here's the thing, though. The 1 horse Cosia, the EquinEdge long shot. Okay, let's see. The EquinEdge long shot could have chosen the 6, 4, and 1, and it chose the 1. But you can see the 2, 3, and 5. I mean, there's a likelihood. Look at the 1 horse is interesting, though. Top pace, facing the best horse, top SOR, top GSR, and the EE long shot. It's got 4 things going for it. Super interesting. I think we at least have to give this horse a look, and we can clearly see. Look, it's facing a little bit easier. I will say this. Look at this right here. If you look at this race last year in September, it was the same F54 SOR. It was only 3% to win with a 53 GSR, and it lost by a length and 3/4. And it really didn't have the lead at the second call. Right. Now the GSR goes up to 65. So this GSR is actually going up. This one could be super dangerous.
Wow, Scotty, you're touting a 20-1 shot, trying the back to the dirt where the horse is 0 for is that 0 for 5 or 0 for 3? A lifetime. Yeah. So the horse. Yeah. I mean, second off the layoff. And it draws a tricky inside post. I'm not on board. I love the price. It looks like value, but I've got to be comfortable with that value. And as far as the 5, I've got the similar concerns. He's a synthetic horse, right? So you got to show me that you can run on the main track. So I noticed that it's a 36% win percentage, the top Scotty pick. But and again, this horse may take to the dirt. I'm not sure, but
let me interrupt you real quickly. Let me tell you something about sprinting over at Gulfstream Park on the synthetic. You need speed, but in my opinion, most of the time, horses that come from behind are winning those 2-turn synthetic races at Gulfstream Park, and
right.
the GSR here goes up 11 points, and gets the bug at 113 pounds. The horse is going to have the lead. This is a scary horse. It really, really is. And if you're looking for a price, this could be the one.
Yeah.
And I would think maybe the one horse could be in the money at the very least. I don't know that I'm going to use it yet. I won't use the 6 and I won't use the 4. That I know. So we'll have to take a closer look now at the 2, 3, and 5. But that's not the worst looking long shot in the world. And there's many reasons as to why this horse might run better.
Yeah, no, I can see your point. I'm not in love with this horse's chances. You do have a drop down though it looks like this horse is the first time in 62. Well, maybe the first time in a while. It's been at this $10,000 level for seems like an eternity, and has a couple of layoff lines. 36%. I'm sorry, it's not. It's the second win percent. 20. Okay, well, now I'm confusing myself. 11% chance to win, which surprises me because you don't see any dirt for him, right? So I'm not sold on your one, but it is value. And sometimes you just go with value in races where you think maybe the favorites are vulnerable. But with that being said, Scotty, I'm always looking for value, but I don't think you're getting in this race. I think it's between the 2, 3, and 5. And
before you tell me, let me just tell you something.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Look at my note right here when the 2 horse and look at the money this horse continues to burn. Runs with head up. This is such a good note to me. Now it goes to D'Angelo, no question, and trainer change could make all the difference in the world. And this horse is a major contender, but it never seems to get there. And I noticed a pattern with this horse, and it runs with its head up. And so I know it won this race here, but I don't know. There's just something about this horse I'm not fully trusting. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, I know you say it's a money burner, but had 1-2 back over the course by 4 lengths, pretty impressive, and then just missed in last at 7 up the rail. I think this horse is in good form. She's maybe going into her peak form. So since they switched back to dirt, and she's won, like I said, 1 race, and her other start she's got a second. So it's a likely favorite, and I guess I'm just going to take the price and move on. I don't like anybody else in here.
All right, so David's taking the 2. I did my best to talk you off of it.
I hear you, and you should have, because you could have, because it's go big green, and to me the expression is go big blue, not green. So I'm not a Jets fan, but you got to go if your gut tells you that that's the likeliest winner. I'm going to move on and go with that horse. The one thing I'm surprised at, Scotty, is it's not in the top 3 picks. So that is concerning, because I will tell you, when I settle on a horse who's a pretty short price for me, it's 90% of the time it's one of the Scotty top 3 picks. Yeah. And this concerns me when you have a morning line of 7-5, and even the EE morning line's 8-5. So it's a little puzzling to me, but we may know that answer after the race. The horse doesn't fire, but at this point, I'm taking the likely favorite, and to my opinion, winner 2. Go big green for Mistress Saez and Joe D'Angelo.
We have 3 minutes before Pimlico race number 3. This starts off our feeder, so we're going to go there live, show you the race. When I'm looking at like this 5 horse, it's changed trainers consistently. And you can see the SOR. It's been facing a little bit tougher, but it's had high win percentages, and the horse just never seems to get there. Now, this is a little bit easier SOR. It could make all the difference in the world. It could. It really could improve here. Darley. Here's one that was facing a non-one is a 3, $8,000 2 back. That was a 44 SOR group. And then it jumped up after breaking last. It jumped up and ran against a similar group here, really running a good race. And so this one's a major player. but gets claimed for 62.5 by a trainer, Patrick Chang, that I've never heard of. So that's a tough one. So this is a really, really tough race. And for those reasons, I'm going to go with the one horse.
Whoa, Scotty, going with a long shot, a 20-1 morning line. You sound like me. We're like reversing roles.
That's so true. Yeah, that
interesting.
is so true.
At least we'll be on for that race, so we'll see how it pans out. I may do it. Well, it wouldn't be fair because I have a 7 of 5. I'm like, well, Scotty, if the one wins, I'll give you my watch, but my watch is a $70 Timex. I'm sure you do not want that watch.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. What's up, Justin? What's up? What's up, Eric? How are you?
Hey, Justin.
Nick. What's going on, guys? It's good to be here with you today, David. It's nice to relax a little bit. I'm in Florida right now. Me and Anna go back on Sunday. The weather's beautiful here. It's just been great. Yeah. Yep. And happy Black Eyed Susan Day. Exactly. And then tomorrow, man, I'll tell you what, David, I was really impressed with the card that they put together for Preakness Day. I mean, it's a wonderful card tomorrow.
Oh, yes. It was real appealing when I looked at the overnights on Sunday, or I guess Monday. And I had a lot of interest in entering the Express Bet Preakness Challenge. And I am in based on a horse tourney's victory yesterday. So saved me a little dollar. So I'm pumped. I think I'm feeling it tomorrow, to be honest with you. I do have plays. I'm all pumped up for it. And I'm sure you'll be. I have a feeling that Mr. Scotty McKeever will have at least one entry in that.
I have a big appointment. It's for EquinEdge. It's the most I can say. And so I might miss the tournament because we've got some possible expansion and working. And so I'm supposed to have a big meeting tomorrow, and I'm excited about it. And so I actually might miss the tournament for those reasons.
Well, I'm not. I'd love to see you in as friendly competition, but it's good news for me because I heard my odds just went down in that. So I went from 100 to 1, and with no Scotty McKeever, I'm down to 91 to 1.
I don't know. You might be more like 30 or 40 to 1.
I don't know. Got a bunch of hard hitters in there and experience.
There are some really good players, and they're getting better as well. We've been so many of the top players right now are using EquinEdge, which is just amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's nice. All right, so of course we have race number 3 coming up here on the dirt at Pimlico. You are on the 3 horse. I'm on the 6 horse, Stronisio, who is your 9 to 5 favorite. I love this horse in here. Absolutely love this horse. Again, the only reason I don't like your 3 is because I think its style doesn't fit well. I think the Feeling Woozy, the 1 horse is a player. The 2 horse Cadet is getting played right now. And this horse has some layoff lines, David, but clearly when this horse is right with 12 wins, I think Cadet Corpse with Paco Lopez aboard and Kelly Bream, maybe we should have looked a little bit closer at this too.
Yeah, maybe taking money at 7-2. Big contender here. As they're loading in.
Curlin's the Malibu. Crossland is in. Stroncino's 8 to 5. Classic Joke. In line. And they're off. Point Doom sent out with that early speed for the lead. So too Sagrada Rey.
Not surprisingly, the 9 gets the lead, but 4 horse is really pressing. Not the 4. The
is Point Doom.
Who is that? The 3 horse. I told you I really felt like your horse needed the lead. It does not look comfortable chasing like that. Now has the 10 pressing on the outside, David. That was my worry. The 9 horse really easily got the lead.
Chief and trailing the field is Stroncino. Solid pace pace going with 6 furlongs left to go.
Six
Point
horses
Doom
at the back of
from
the pack.
Classic
I don't
Joke
think
by
that's a great
almost 2
place to be,
lengths.
to be honest with you.
Secretary is in
I think
third.
Paco
Another
Lopez has
4
got the
back
2
Feeling
horse
Woozy.
cadet corpse in a
Cadet
really
Co
nice
racing as a team.
position
There's
right
another
now.
2 to
Yeah, I agree.
Crossland and Hey Chief back of the pack. Curlin's Malibu and Stroncino still plenty to do now. Heading to the fart turn run with 4
Yeah, I think the
furlongs left
three's
to go.
done.
Point Doom. Classic Joke trying to get closer on the chase. Zagrata back third. Feeling Woozy
Yeah,
down
three's done.
inside, improves just a little bit. Outside of that
Pace
is
that
Cadet
pace.
Corps. Cadet Corps now into third. Crossland is next. Hey Chief is trying to rally under a ride with 3 furlongs left to go. Stroncino's in between horses. Curlin's Malibu has dropped back to last. They race toward the quarter pole here at Pimlico, and it's Point Doom trying to dazzle them with early speed. It's Classic Joke chasing in
So
second.
nine's going to be very tough to catch here. We talked about the 9 horse having an easy lead. Here comes the 2.
Stroncino
Here
way
comes
out of
the
the middle
6
of the
making a
track.
late
3/16 left to run.
And I don't know that you're going to catch this 9
Point
horse.
Doom,
6
a
is making a
5-length
move. 2's
advantage
making a
from
move.
Cadet Corps in second. On the outside is Crossland and Classic Joke. A 16th
6 is
left to
done.
run.
Yeah, it's going to
Point
be
Doom,
9-8.
Michael
9-2.
Sanchez. They're staying on. Point
Yep.
Doom all the way. Cadet Corps was second. Crossland was
You know,
third.
and maybe
then
that's an
Curlin's
indicator
Malibu.
too of speed holding at today possibly, or even this weekend. It's something we have to watch for. But but the 9 was a major player in here, no question. Top
Oh,
pace,
absolutely.
468.
right? Race number
Absolutely.
2, that was on the turf, but the top pace number 1. And look at the 4 and the 6 horse. They were the top 2 pace numbers in race number 1. They came in first and second. So
Yeah, you got to watch for a speed bias today.
maybe there's a speed bias there. Gulfstream Park, race number 1 comes up in 13 minutes, you guys. So why don't we get out to what is the qualifiers?
Okay.
And you can see I've got a couple of entries that I'm going to be playing. And you can see Pimlico race number 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 13. So dominated by Pimlico, David. We've got Aqueduct races 5 and 7. And then we've got Gulfstream Park races 8 and 9.
Okay, where do you want to go?
All right. So let's get out to I believe that was okay. Pimlico race number 8. Let's get out there. Okay. Pimlico
race number 8.
All right, let's run this thing.
Okay, we got a stakes race for fillies and mares 3 and up. The Ardupont, 125,000 going a mile and an 8 or 9 furlongs.
David, I'll be right back.
Sure. And you've got the class of the race here. If you watch the race simulator, let me just pop up my wrong page. Apologize there. So the 2 horse looks like the main speed here early. You've got Dazzling Move, who's got speed from the rail, but does take blinkers off. So you would think that Jose Ortiz is going to be maybe rating this horse a little bit with the blinkers off. So the 2 should have the lead. The 6 is not slow by any means. Prenoir for Rudy Brissett. The question is, can the 6 horse stalk? It looks like if you go back to November 8th in the 80,000 optional claimer, Prenoir just did stalk a couple of lengths off, but it looked like that may have been a slow pace that day, and just may have benefited by a perfect trip. But you got the class of the race here. The 3 horse Candied comes out of the double dog there. And was a little disappointing in that race, I'll have to say, but may improve second off a layoff. I know Scotty's a big fan of Candied. Has run in the Distaff Grade 1 Breeders' Cup last year, finished a decent third, finished third in the Spinster, just missed in Alabama, second in the Oaks at Coaching Club American Oaks at Saratoga. So here's the common denominator: no wins until you go back to Monmouth and a Lady's Secret, which I thought was a pretty weak race. So I'm not entirely on board, but it definitely has a class edge. What do you think, Scotty? With I know you know Candied very well from last year's wagering. What do you? What?
Well, I talk about it a lot. In the Candy's got I believe an ankle problem. Yeah, her right foot, and I mean she was one of the most talented fillies, and she is, but the ankle issues unfortunately are just really really tough. And in the Breeders' Cup, 2 Breeders' Cups ago, I had her. She got 3rd, and it was right here. You can see here, broke from the rail, broke last, and lost by 3/4 of a length. I can't even tell you how much I had on her in every which way. It was hard to overcome. But so, you know, now to see her in a non-graded stakes field like this is pretty surreal, to be honest with you. The 4 horses, 20-1 EE Morning Line, Lemon Muffin, which is super interesting. I don't know what the hell that is about, but I mean, I guess I worry a little bit that, you know, what's up with Candied? You know, is she just? I mean, this is like she should dominate this field, absolutely dominate. And maybe they want to get her some confidence, but I can't choose anybody else but Candied.
Okay, and you're looking at in that double dog there, an 80 SOR now faces a 72 group. I mean, really on paper, the class says it's just so immense that you know it's tough to bet against this horse. However, I still don't entirely trust her. I don't know if some of these fillies going from 3 to 4 that raced last year haven't come back the same. An example is just Miss FYI for Bill Mott. And there's a gun song almost beat Torpedo Anna last year at Parks and didn't come back the same horse. Lost yesterday. You know, I'm not sold on Candy. Candy's a likely winner. I'll acknowledge that. But the horse that I'm going to give a shot here with is Pernyor with Rudy Brissett. It comes out of a easy off the turf wire-to-wire score at 3 to 5 against you know it only a 4-horse field. I understand, but you know you got to just run against who they put against you on the track. The race before at Oaklawn Park, the stakes race. Had the lead and tired late, going a mile in the 16th. A race before that, pretty decent second. I just think that you've got some good efforts. One at Churchill, a mile and 1/8, just barely won by a neck. Race before, a Keeneland 3-length win. I'm thinking that maybe she can just sit a little bit off the pace and make one move. So I'm going with the Scotty long shot here, Pernod, to get a little bit of a price, and I'll match it up in exactas with the 3. So it's a 6 in the contest for me, Scotty.
All right. David with a 6. I'm going to stick with Candied. Yeah, I have to stick with Candied. All right. Let's get to race number 9. I believe 9, right? Yep. 9 is the 3rd event. Let's run this race. 8 furlongs.
Oh, Scotty,
Yeah.
I apologize. Oh, hold on a second.
What?
I don't have to apologize. Let's keep her going.
Yeah, what?
I forgot. I also had some interest in Sudden Switch, but that was a late scratch. So I don't have to reference that horse. Okay, 9th race at Pimlico. It's the Hilltop. 1 mile on the turf for fillies and fillies 3-year-old.
All right, let's see here. Hold on here. Okay, so the 3-horse Me Governor. Here's a horse that's the top pace, top SOR, lowest EE morning line, and EE second pick. And it broke from the 11 hole last time out, going 5.5 furlongs. Not a great place to be. The race before that was off of a 4-month layoff and still ran pretty good against a similar group. I mean, it seems like a major player, the 3, especially with this speed. No?
Me Governor?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But this, Scotty, this is a wide open race in my opinion. Me Governor, yeah, third race off a layoff. However, it does stretch out. This horse has been exclusively in sprints. Tries a mile here. I mean, it looks like this horse is going to, I wouldn't say an easy trip on the front end because Pure Majestic does have some speed. The White Rocks could thrust a little bit. And Complexity James, not slow early. So you may get a little bit of a pace here. But the horse, obviously the 3 is a use. But the horse that I have interest in here is the, I think I'm all over the Scotty long shots today, which is usually not a bad thing. So I'm going with, had interest in the 2 Play with Fire. I'm a huge fan of Oscar Performances. And you got one here, and Oscar Performance out of Kinsey Joy, just impeccable turf breeding. You look at her first start on the turf at Fairgrounds, broke her maiden at 5-1. Nice race, rallied to win from off the pace. And then they tried dirt with this horse. It's fine. Maybe looking to see whether they had a Kentucky Oaks contender, and that dirt didn't pan out too well. Went back to turf and LeCompte. And that's a pretty decent race. Did tire late in a mile on the 16th. And the next race at a mile on the 16th, also tired late. But Ramsey Pond had won that race. That was April 11th. I remember that race. I had a large investment in there on a couple of horses. And then has a work at a Turfway on the synthetic 36-4. Cuts back to a mile, which I think may be the key. So I just think Pratt's aboard, not a bad thing. So I'm going with a little bit of value here. I'm landing on the 2 Play with Fire.
All right, Play with Fire.
And Oldie likes race horse number 9.
He likes the 9 horse, Sigh No More.
Yeah. Okay. How do you see this, Scotty?
Well, I mean, this is you can see Brendan Walsh, and it's got a low win percentage, but that's only because it's a foreign horse and the system doesn't know how to analyze this foreign horse. That's all that's going on there. So just know that ahead of time. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes we have the information and sometimes we don't. I can tell you this horse is probably much better than what the system is giving it credit for. So just be careful. Make your own determination on that. I mean, it won a grade 3 last time out, but it looks like I don't know how we can have no information, but we've got SORs. Guys, I always tell you, just on the foreign horses, we don't have that data fully yet. We've got partial data. And when I say partial, 10%, it's something hopefully in the next year that we're going to have and be able to offer races all over the world. And when we do that, then horses like this will be a lot more accurate. So just be careful. Gulfstream Park race number 1, by the way, is coming up in 2 minutes. We'll get out for that race. White Rocks is an interesting horse. On this horse, this horse might be able to rate. I'm not sure. It's so fast. That was a synthetic race. It looks like this horse is going to be fine on the turf. In fact, I think this horse is fair. One of the things that I have done now, that not that there's any help in here, but I've really become I look at the jockey trainer combination. I really do think that's important. I don't like situations where a trainer's using a jockey for the first time or their low win percentage. I really, in this case, and it's what we're seeing on paper, this race looks wide open. I think you should always look at the changes. Lasix off first time on your horse. I never think that's a good thing. Same thing on the 8, who's getting bet. So the one horse is the top Scotty pick. Not for my money. I don't get it. That happens sometimes, but I don't know why that would be the top pick.
It did win last, but just broke his maiden and stepping up here to a stakes. Yeah, it could be a rather difficult spot for this filly.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the 3 horse. I'm going to go with the 3.
3. Me Governor. Okay.
Yep.
So Scotty McKeever on 3, Me Governor. And I'm on 2, Play with Fire. Okay.
All right, let's see here. All right, let me put that in. David's on the 2. The other Walsh horse, who's got the 9 horse as well. All right, let's get out to Gulfstream Park before we go to Pimlico 10. And you are on the 3-horse, and I am on the 2-horse Bowie, who's your favorite at the moment. Let's see here. Okay. All right, let's so the 3-horse seems to need the lead for its best, David. Now the 7's getting bet, but I don't love that post. I don't love that post.
Yeah, no, I agree. That could be an issue here, but yeah, it is taking money. So usually we're the first timers who take money, and of course is live.
Yeah.
Not that I'm
Still
bored.
time for your wagers. It's race 1 on the program. It starts the early pick 5.
Let's see.
Yeah, my 3-horse. I mean, well, I guess, often a morning line of 8 to 1, I can't say that it's totally dead on the board. I expected maybe a 5 to 6 to 1 on the 3, so that is somewhat concerning, but not worried about it.
I really do like Bowie. I think that horse ran a good race last time out.
But the question is, do you like Bowie's music?
Yeah.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
I love David Bowie.
Yeah.
Oh, let me change my pick. I forgot. I'm a huge Bowie fan. I'll make it a hunch play. That's the one regret I have, never seeing David Bowie live in concert. I mean, I go way back. First, one of the first albums I ever had was a David Bowie, Diamond Dogs. So I remember that as one of my favorite albums of all time as a teenager. I'm really dating myself. No, there wasn't horse and buggy time. No, we had vehicles. Gas was 12 cents a gallon.
The horses are at the gate.
You had to wait online.
Now post time. Field of 2-year-olds to sprint 5 furlongs and kick off the Friday racing card. 6 to 5 favorite Bowie, 2 to 1 second choice Vito's Wildcat. Both of which with valuable race experience. Should have learned from their debut runs as Street Player gets ready to walk forward. He's another who may improve with the run. He was very quick out of there before retreating early. 9 races in total today as Street Player walks forward. Next one up is Valdero. Jose Morelos for Tim Shue. My favorite bird, then Vito's Wildcat in an ordinary.
It'll be very
9
interesting
races in
to
total
see
today. Rainbow
how
6
fast
begins
the
with
7
race
is,
4.
because
Before that, a
on that
tropical
post, it
turf
needs
pick
to be
3
very,
offering
very
that
fast.
starts with race 2.
And it's also a horse, whether it runs good or not, I would put a note on for next time out, because this post draw is not a good one unless it is able to really show some speed immediately, because there's some fast horses in here. But I do think the 7 is talented.
On the outside, an ordinary will
Nice
complete
work,
the line.
huh?
Yeah.
Tracks are fast.
Good luck,
Turf
everybody.
is firm.
We're
set for a start. Racing at Gulfstream. The 2 favorites were both away quickly, but not as quick as Street Player, who's on to take over. Street Player to the top. Vito's Wildcat is second, and Ordinary is up on the outside, and Bowie is toward the rail. It's a link back to my favorite bird. The 2 laggards are Ralston and Valdero. Around the far turn they go. The leader is Street Player, on top by almost a length. In Ordinary, he's now second. Back to third. Vito's Wildcat, my favorite bird, is next. Bowie held up for a run, working 4 better than a Rousted Son, and the trailer is Valdero. Reached the top of the stretch. A quarter of a mile remains. They went 22 and 3 for the quarter. The leader, Street Player, by 2.5. Second is an Ordinary. Vito's Wildcat and my favorite bird are next. 1/8 of a mile to go. Street Player finding plenty here. Street Player definitely improves on the run as he's going to widen the advantage. Street Player, the son of Street Boss, to win the Friday opener. Emphatically, he'll win by as much as he wants. Probably 8 lengths at the wire. Vito's Wildcat is up for second. And Ordinary third. My favorite bird
fourth. Joining us here?
No good. Debut on the first race, 58-2.
Matt's here.
I don't know. I'm just saying that's a typical large win wager type of move. But again, it did concern me originally that the horse was 7-1. I thought it would be 5-1 or less, but I didn't figure 5-2. But hey, it's a win is a win.
Well, listen, we've been seeing, and this is usually a sign they win in bunches. We've been seeing how many. This is like 4 top pace numbers that have won.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe that's a sign that speed is holding around the country right now.
Yeah. It's a trend. All right, they're on the track. So you want to do the next race at Pimlico and then
let's do Pimlico 10 and then we'll go to Pimlico 4 and watch that.
Okay, perfect. All right. Let me pop up Pimlico 10 on my EquinEdge track. Pimlico. Race number 10.
So we have a horse in Stunner. Big field here. Who's very, very fast. The 5 family is fast as well and seems to need the lead. I don't think that the 6 can afford to, again, don't look at these odds. These are not, they're not accurate, but I don't think the 6 can afford to breathe wrong or hesitate in any way. It is the top pick. It has had leads and stopped. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, Scotty, I just thought this was a really fun, good race. I mean, you've got a full field of sprinters. These fillies are just this is an intriguing race to me. You've got a ton of speed here. I know Stunner has a big pace advantage, but I mean, look at it this way. Family's not slow. Volleyball Princess will be adding to the mix.
Yeah.
Long neck Paul is out, so the little speed's out. The 12 is also out. I mean, you've got a potential, and Delray is not. Even though Delray has I didn't think it would be a 54 fact. This horse could be right near the lead. The 7 might get a perfect trip here.
7-5-4-3. Street Player is the winner. He's a son of Street Boss.
I was looking at a race like this for a little bit of chaos, and I do like Stunner, but I want to get a little bit of a better price here. I think Stunner will take some beating and also take some pace pressure. But I mean, you go back last year, she won the Tempted with a wire-to-wire trip. She did lose at 2-5 in a race at Gulfstream after that, a small overnight stakes, and just got caught at the end. Also lost at 4-5 in her comeback race, the Grade 2 Beaumont. We can excuse that because it was a sloppy track. Has a bullet workout on May 8th. Really great work. It's tough to get. This horse is going to be tough to beat, let's be honest. But, it may be better for me. I don't think you're getting anywhere near 4-1 on Stunner. The horse that I have a lot of interest in, I think I'm landing on here, is the 11, You'll Be Back. The horse ran in the Virginia Oaks and mile 16th, and really ran pretty evenly. I mean, this is Tom Amos. He knows his horse. He's a real good trainer. I got a good work on May 7th. Off a little bit of a freshening. You look at the form, has won at 6. Okay, maybe didn't want to go a mile 16th. Maybe didn't love the mud at Oaklawn 3 back, going a mile in a small stakes. I think the cutback benefits this horse the most, and I think it's going to set a good trip on the outside. If this pace melts down, I think the 11 can hit the board. So I think it's worth the risk to use a 15-1 morning line. So I'm going to be on You'll Be Back Scotty, the 11 horse here for Tom Amos.
So Safi Joseph takes over for family, the horse family, the 5, and Irad jumps aboard. So obviously a private sale, and it looks like this horse has some talent, and is very, very fast. Unfortunately, she has stunner to the outside of her. That's unfortunate.
Right. And Tapeta, this horse is synthetic. 2 races, both synthetics. So you've got to, and again, this horse may take real well to the dirt track there at Pimlico, but again, you got to show me. You're never going to get 6-1 on family either. With Irad jumping aboard and Safi being the new trainer, you probably get maybe 3 or 4-1, in my opinion. I think those will be the two horses taking the most action.
Echo Sound hasn't really done much wrong, David. Right? And this one's coming off a layoff, and the works don't look particularly fast, although this April 9th work 31 of 121 is pretty nice. And I mean, this is just such a nice horse. This one's really not done anything wrong. It drew the rail here. That's not a great place to break from, and break 7th and ran a really good race. Like, is going to get some speed up front with the 5 and the 6. 6 could get away, but the 8 horse, I mean, she's going to get a nice trip from that post. Look at the great expected trip she's going to get. I mean, she's just going to be sitting. 5's going to go. 4's there, but she's going to be sitting all by herself. There's nobody on the outside of her, nobody on the direct inside. The 7's not fast. I mean, if you get rid of the 6 horse, meaning the 5 pushes stunner, then Echo Sound sits a nice trip, draws a really good post. I think I'm going to go with the 8 horse, David.
Yeah, Scotty, that was I looked at that horse originally, and I remember that race on October 25th, the Myrtlewood, because I bet her that day, and at 4-1 in a 10 horse field. I thought she was taking a lot of money for a Rusty Arnold horse, and I was right. This horse, to me, that was impressive. Now, she did get good fractions up front, and she will need a little pace, but I think she gets it here, and I can really see your horse. I mean, I personally like your horse, the 8, Echo Sound, a little better than mine. But that 15-1 morning line just is too juicy for me. But I will use the 8 also in some kind of fashion as the afternoon proceeds.
Yeah. All right. So who are you going with?
I'm going with the 11 as my top pick. That's probably my long shot, highest price horse of the day in the qualifiers. And I would say, if I had 2, I'd be on board with you on Echo Sound. But I probably will only have 1. But in either case, if Echo Sound crosses the finish line in front, you know that I will have a winning wager. So I'll be on board with you for real money.
All right, let's get back out to race number 4 at Pimlico.
Okay.
And they are at the gate. Good timing. David, you are on the 6 horse Billionaires Row. We talked about this. My concern is that Bourbon Pass is a very fast horse, going to be on the outside. So I went with War Humor, a horse that's going to be tactical, currently 14-1. Kind of like this horse a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of money to win on the 3 horse as well.
Okay, and I put a little money to win on the 6 horse in addition to my NHC feeder pick. So good luck, everybody. They're loading the gate for race 4 at Pimlico. At least we've got nice weather there, Scott. It looks nice. The sun is beautiful here today in Rochester. My God, it's like in the mid to upper 70s. So we have, it's real gorgeous out. Good to get some weather here that's giving me a positive attitude going into May here. Nice day.
5-2.
Next week the weather looks awful here, or cold in the 50s, 60s is not a good May temperature for me.
Watch out, World. Zip line to heaven and Claudie Boy.
How are you, in?
The pace scenario is very interesting here. Here we go.
Off. Bourbon Boss with Billionaires Row very fast too. So Billionaires Row and
Six,
Bourbon
eight,
Boss.
just
Watch
right.
out,
Yeah,
roll
there
up
we
the
go.
chase
There's your
from
speed
third.
goal.
Line to heaven up close, only 3 lengths
Yeah.
off of speed. Island
8
D-Line
cleared,
is followed
though.
by Cloudy Boy.
6 to 5. Yeah, they
So
may
the
know
front
on
end
this
is
one
hard
too.
The
to
times on the
run.
outside. I
Two
mean, going to be very, very
Incinerators about 3
difficult
wide
for
into the turn. Tool
the 6
Pusher had to
horse.
chuck hard there. And Happy
Win from
John
here.
got
I
shuffled
will
back
say
as
this: the
well.
6 does look
Katie
relaxed.
Snowshin back at the pack with War Humor, who's trailing the field. So
My
Bourbon
horse is in
Boss,
dead
watch out,
last.
Burl there on the outside as they
How
swing
that
around
happened,
that
I have
turn
no
and head
idea.
for
Uh-huh.
home. And the leader is
But
Bourbon Boss. A turn for
good
home.
luck beating Bourbon Boss
that
with a 50
leader.
to 1 shot on
Bourbon
the
Boss in
outside.
front to watch out. World second on the inside. Billionaire
The 10 is
Row
coming.
next, and
Zip
next
line
is
to
Zip
heaven. We
Line
talked
to
about
Heaven
this one.
is trying to quicken up toward the center of the track, and Bourbon Boss is still in charge. Bourbon Boss in front. Bourbon Boss Incinerator now moving and charging.
Well,
Here
7
comes
is 7's going to be.
Incinerator on the outside.
Oh
Bourbon
my
Boss hoping to win.
goodness!
Bourbon Boss
Oh,
Incinerator. Then it was Zip Line to Heaven, and Cloudy Boy finished fourth.
8-7. And
The old 8-7.
yeah, I had mentioned Incinerator. It was a horse I was following and stopped following, and its form had been bad. And I had a note that I felt like it needed to be near the lead, but that horse was nowhere near the lead and ran like that. So I think I'm going to get rid of that note. So
yeah, actually, I put Incinerator in the incinerator after I handicapped.
Yeah, I did as well.
Okay.
All right.
Entertaining race. Okay.
Yep. Let's we have to do okay, let's get rid of the volume there. Okay, we've got Pimlico race number 11, 12, and 13 to do. So why don't we get out there? And man, these fields are big.
This is a effing doozy, my friend.
It is.
You got a dart. Can we just hang up numbers on the board here? Anybody from the chat room want to help me out here? Because this, I'm settling on some. Oh, hold on. The horse I liked was scratched. So let me. I'm sorry. That was the main track. The 10 is out. Oh, I'm sorry. The horse wasn't scratched. I was looking at the other race. So let me just take another. I think I know what I didn't spend when I see a wide open race like this. This is where EquinEdge comes in so handy for me. I'm like at this juncture, maybe I'll just settle on the Scotty long shot because I couldn't. My head was spinning in this race.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. So we're going. There's another 5 furlong sprint here. It's the very one. And it just seems so contentious. You've got
right
two horses here. Sure, you've got 2 horses with an abundance of really early foot here, and that's the 2 Maserati for Brittany Russell. I don't see any scenario where this horse. The only way she can win probably is on the front end. Can't rate it all. And then you throw in the speed with the 4 Shoshana, who looks like kind of cheap speed and not as fast to me as the 2. But, if you look at that workout on May 8th, a 4:45 racing, geez, that's fast on that synthetic course. But, the 5 is not entirely slow. But I've been beaten so many times. Maserati is 2 for 3 lifetime over this course. But I will say that, to me, the most likely scenario here, in my opinion, it looks like it could be a setting up for a closer. So I'm just looking here for the best closer, a horse that may be in form or rounding into form. And the horse that I have a lot of interest in at a pretty decent price is the 12 Simply Stated. Now, only tried turf 2 times. Back on March 2nd at Gulfstream, rallied at 5. It looks like it got a contentious pace that day. Closed, just missed by 3/4 of a length. Went back to the Tapeta, or tried Tapeta for the first time on April 4th. Kind of an even race, no factor. And then it was a huge price down at Keeneland at 5.5 furlongs, 56 to 1 shot in a very tough field. However, she did get 3rd that day. And another closing into a rapid pace. So to me, the 12 and Trombetta, he's a staple in the Mid-Atlantic circuit there. And sometimes when I can't figure a race out, I'll just go with a trainer who's had success at that course and that circuit. So I think Simply Stated is live here at a pretty big price. With that outside post, avoid trouble and with the closing move. So I'm going to land on the 12 here, Scotty. Simply Stated.
5-1 on the E-morning line. Looks like this one can rate a bit.
Yeah.
Didn't have the best trip last time out. In fact, was 8 wide, was in between horses at 56-1 against a tougher group, moves up in win percentage. GSR. I will say this. The horse has shown some speed before, so that shouldn't. Yeah, I think that just the fact that horse broke bad. So I don't think 5 furlongs is the problem. In fact, this horse almost won at 5 furlongs here.
Yeah.
Back. That was against a little bit easier group, but I can see that. Like, you don't mind taking these wide posts on these sprint races. I've always been somebody that shied away from those wide posts personally, but
the thing that I like about, especially on the turf, Scotty, is that this race is so fast, it's over so quickly, and you got horses that are. I mean, if the closers don't hold, I don't want a horse. I've been burned so many times by using the 5 or 6 post in a 12-horse field at 5 furlongs, and the horse gets in traffic problems and weaving through, and you can't predict who's going to get the best trip. I like the outside post because, with all things being equal, if you maintain your position, you should still be outside when they turn for home. So that's why I normally would like I think that 14 draws in. Accomplished Girl's got a big shot here also. So
it does draw in the top EquinEdge pick. This horse can rate. Been facing much tougher horses. Paco aboard. Gotta hate that post. But I think the horse is the second fastest horse in the race behind the 2. But will it, the horse from that post going 5 furlongs? I mean, Paco's going to have to ask. I mean, he's very good out of the gate. He's a speed rider. Like maybe it shouldn't even be a worry, but furlongs is good for this horse.
Yeah, and maybe we're looking too deep into this race. Maybe the 2 just gets off to a clear lead and just wires his field. I mean, 2 for 3 at Pimlico, 2 for 3 at the distance. But I mean, last time out in the stakes race, lost to Accomplished Girl and was 26-1. So you would think Accomplished Girl would be the favorite here, correct? But I mean, when if Brittany Russell, I mean, they're a dangerous barn, and everything they seem to send out down there in the Mid-Atlantic region is live, it seems. But again, if you're on this horse, you'll be on a lead, and you'll get a thrill coming down the stretch because probably be tiring late. But it's only 5. It's not 5.5. So, and
the other thing is, I will say, like, look at the 9 is a major player, and the 9's getting overbet. Is going to get overbet. Here's the thing about the 9. When you're talking about 14 horses in a race or 12 horses in a race, whatever's in here, you're going to have to get the trip. And at 5 furlongs, like, it's just not a great place to be to come from so far back. Like, I think I'd rather have the 14 horse from that post than the 9 or any of these closers because they're going to have to get lucky. I mean, your 12 horse is at least tactical. I mean, you're correct. I mean, you're not going to be too far back. You're going to be maybe 3-4 lengths back. That's not bad. Whereas when you're looking at a horse, like the 9, this horse is projected to be dead last early. And maybe Pratt gets this horse a perfect trip. Make no doubt about it. The 9's going to be closing the fastest. I have no doubt. But it's got to get around and get the perfect trip on a narrow course. So
exactly. And it does have the class edge because if you look for Clement, and all you have to know with me is, this Clement, probably should stay away, but really has the class edge. Comes out of 4 New York's, 2 New York State bred. This is a New York bred. 2 New York State bred stakes were closed, but just didn't get up. And before that, one at Laurel did win 3 in a row. 2 at Woodbine, 1 at Laurel, but needs the pace and needs the trip. And the 9-5 is going to be overbet. Has the class edge with a. Let me see here. The SOR here in the last race, 74, now drops into a 68. So it's live, but I can't take 9 to 5 morning line, and so I don't want any part of this horse. Obviously, she can win, but not with me on board.
Yeah. What about Maserati, the 2 horse, who's going to most likely be on the lead? Just not classy enough?
No, I think that maybe, like I said before, maybe we're just over analyzing this, and the 2 has such as the pace advantage and just going to fly to the gate and go wire to wire. But don't forget, this horse did lose last year, was in this race the very one, and was 13-1 from the 5 post, and got kind of dusted by Shoshana, who finished second in that race. And Shoshana now, it comes back, and I don't like Shoshana, so maybe that's the reason I'm not using Balsarati. But I could see this horse getting brave on the front of the 2, so it scares me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, this Shoshana, this 4 horse is 20%. And should we be looking at this one a little bit closer?
It's just not for me. And she looks like she, you would think she could close, but her last couple of races on the turf at 5, she's kind of just running evenly. I'm 6-year-old mare. Has she lost a step? You have that bullet work on May 8th, which does, maybe she's okay. It seems like when she wins, she has to get a clear and easy lead. And I'm going back to a win. Jeez, it's been a while. November of 23, she was her last win, but then she came off the layoff and ran back in this race last year and had a clear lead. So it's kind of tough to figure out. It seems like when she gets the lead, but she's got to get a clear lead, and she's got a better chance. So I don't see it. She got dusted by Loon Cry September 14th at Laurel. So no, I don't see the 4 at all.
What about the 8 horse who I had thrown out? I know it's only 1%, but this horse is coming in from Charlestown, and this horse has never raced on the turf before. What a place to bring your horse! But this horse seems to have some credentials, but I don't know that it's going to like the turf course. But this is a pretty decent horse.
Yeah, 7 for 12 lifetime, Charlestown, Mountaineer. Yeah, that's all I need to know. Charlestown Mountaineer, first time on turf. I want no part of this horse.
No part.
But we'll add to the pace. Could affect the outcome of the race by putting pressure on the 2 and the 4. Could be a factor, like I said, adding to the pace. And that's why the more that I think now, the 12 may be a little cheap, but just maybe get the perfect trip. And maybe a 2nd place or a 3rd place finish is more likely with the 12, but you get a good price. To me, that's the value of the race, the 12.
Yeah. I keep coming back to this 9, 7 wins in 16 races. I mean, what a trier that she is. And look, if you look at the last couple of races, they were much tougher competition than what's in here. And this one had won at this level against similar the last 3 races going 6 furlongs. I think, again, my biggest concern probably it is a drop in class, and maybe it's the 5 furlongs. I don't know. She's a strong fit in here. There's no question about it. And
oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I'm
she's a class. She's got a huge class edge in here, Scotty. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, it's not one that I would normally take. Right now I'm looking at the 11 horse Admiral Hopper, and I think I'm going to go in this direction.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go in this direction. That being said, the this horse broke. The only time it ran twice on the turf, but the one we can see 2 back off a layoff, it was 22-1. The horse broke 10. Was not a good break.
Right.
Was in between horses. Yeah, I mean, it's just not likely. It's just not likely. How about this Gift of Gab? Not classy enough, probably.
Yeah, the 6 Gift of Gab again has speed, so it also has the pace scenario, but it also looks like she can close. Yeah, I mean, this is not the worst long shot in the world, Scotty.
No, I know, but I just think that probably class compromised.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, yeah.
the one horse, Oldie's got a note on the one, sees a 15-point increase in GSR over the last race, indicating the horse is back running on a preferred surface. This notable improvement highlights the horse's potential for enhanced performance on familiar terrain, making her a formidable contender. By the way, Oldie's got notes, I believe, the next couple of days at Pimlico. Confirm, Oldie, for me if I got that right. I think my only concern is I'm not sure if this horse has this kind of class. The one time it raced against a 68 group, that was its worst performance. So not entirely sure that this horse is classy. There's some very nice horses in here, very accomplished horses. And so, one of the things that I started doing a lot of too is sorting this SOR right here on RaceView. And when you do that, it looks like the 9, the 14, the 13, even though the 13 is 45 to 1 EE morning line. This horse is pretty classy, but it seems to need the lead for its best. And I don't know, is the 13 going to be, let's see if we sort the pace. It looks like the 2 is faster, the 4 is faster, and the 14 looks faster on the outside. So that would hurt the 13. So all the 13 seems like a decent animal. I think it's going to be tough. We've got Gulfstream Park race number 2. They are coming on to the track right now. So the race should be off in about 2 minutes from now. Yeah, I mean, the one horse, Dave's going to have to get the trip, but the one will be closing as well. But I'm going to go with you, David. After all that, I'm going to go with you.
With the 12 simply stated?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's lock you in on the 12, and we're both on the same bandwagon here. Jump on the bandwagon. So we got Gulfstream coming up, race number 2. And I'm on the 5.
On the 5 horse. I'm on the 6 horse. I love Yankee Drummer. Absolutely love Yankee Drummer. 2 to 1 right now. Now, I mean, obviously, there's always a chance maybe the horse isn't doing good in a situation like this, but this on paper, this is a big drop. These much, much easier. This horse should be very, very tough.
Justin likes the 12 too, simply stated. So,
he does.
Yeah, 3 of us are on a horse. That may be a lot of weight.
Horses are at the gate. It's now post time. Moving in for a start, race number 2, Tropical Turf Pick 3 starts right here.
Getting bet.
Pretty evenly bet race. 2 to 1 on Yankee Drummer. Secret Pageant Man is 3 to 1. So is Sponge Time. 5 to 1 on a What It Is and Reverend Moon. In the line goes This Cat Is Napping. Then draw on the outside, Sponge Time. Sponge Time goes up to the outside gate. Time now for the Tropical Turf Pick 3 in the gate. There, off and running. Messy start for This Cat Is Napping. At the rail, Reverend Moon away the best and reaches out for the early lead. One more time going on the attack. These 2 race on. 3 wide into the turn is What It Is. He's now 3rd. Then back to Yankee Drummer with Secret Pageant Man moving at his inside. Sponge Time is next. They're strung out over a lot of ground, so they must be rolling early. He's a Wild Child is second last, and after a messy start, the trailer is This Cat Is Napping. Loose up front, Reverend Moon, 22-3 for a pumped up opening quarter, and Edwin Gonzalez lets him roll. He now struts his stuff with a 7-length lead. At the rail, it's What It Is who's now second. One more time is now 3rd. Secret Pageant Man 4th. Yankee Drummer tries to keep up. One more time. That was One More Time who just went wrong and unseated the rider. Appeared that Yankee Drummer and Sponge Time were a bit inconvenienced. They swing around the far turn, Reverend Moon. By all accounts, he's gone entirely too fast. He's in front by 2.5. What It Is second. Yankee Drummer and Secret Pageant Man as they start to close ranks on Reverend Moon, who is all in. top of the stretch.
This
Then they
looks
move
like
by
you and
3/4 and 9 flat. The leader is What It Is. In between horses, Secret Pageant Man. Up on the outside, it's Yankee Drummer. They're 1/8 of a mile from home. Secret
you got this.
Pageant Man. He's taking a clear lead with a 16th to go. Battling for second, Yankee Drummer and What It Is. But Secret Pageant Man, he's home first by 3 in the end. Yankee Drummer was second. What It Is third. Reverend Moon fourth. Then Swan will be an inquiry looking at the run down the backside.
Wow.
I love it. I love it. We can have some fun here.
I did not expect 5-1 on that horse.
And we got 5-1, Scotty. I was shocked by that.
Stop it already. Look at that. 6-5 top EquinEdge picks. We did talk about the 8-horse. It was going to be tough for the 8-horse to from that post and stuff. But yeah, that was all the 5 and the 6. It looked like 3-horse ran a decent race, but yeah, 5-1 off odds. Secret Agent Man getting the win there. There's a look one more time. It went 133 and 4, so the track is very, very fast. 22 and 3 to set it up, yep. And there is the 4-horse. All right.
All right.
7. Finishing it off, and let's get back out. Okay, so we've got to do Pimlico 12 and 13 now, David.
Right. Okay, we're on the same horse in the 11th. So, all right, let's get into the major stakes action here. The Pimlico Special, the Grade 3, going 1 mile and 3/16. One of my favorite races out of the year, I must admit. I love distance races, 2 or 3 turns, whatever the case. Give me 4 or 5 turns. I like that even better. For some reason, I love watching how races develop, and when I tell other horse players that, they like, oh, you must love turf racing. Then I'm like, no, I prefer them on dirt, to be honest with you. But I just love this race, and I think it's very wide open. Another one. Pimlico puts together such a good card both today and tomorrow. It's just I just wanted to point out too, I didn't realize, Scotty, we have a late scratch of the 7, Pioneers, DeVos horse, who I thought was a major contender, and obviously 8-5 morning. So the case is, do you want speed in here? Do you want a stalker, or do you want a closer? You've got all of them wrapped up here. Let's go to the rail horse first, because Phileas Fogg has really, really improved. This horse, he was at Churchill last year, claimed out from Toner for 62 out of a turf race at Saratoga. Freaked in the mud the next time out at almost 12-1. Beat Law Professor, who just got a divorce from Law Professor last month. And we've got, the layoff line, came back on a sloppy track, just seems to love the off track, aired in that race by 8 lengths, and then almost wired a field, got tired late, and then just kind of freaked in the Excelsior at 7-1, bum break, and that was a pretty good field. Yeah. The concern is this horse either needs to lead, Scotty, or has got to be right on the pace. And with Encino in the race, it may compromise both of their chances. And with Awesome Aaron in the race, you may just have a very contentious pace. Normally 1 mile and 3/16. I want somewhere near the lead. I will point out I don't like Red Route 1. I'm sorry. And Star of Wonder is really maybe the best horse in here, but not a big enough price for me. So with that being said, I am looking for a closer who's had success at the distance. And I landed on a long shot here, Scotty. And I landed on the 5 Time for Trouble. English Channel horse, 8 years old, loves distances, won 11 races in his career. And if you look, he's won more races than most horses have win-place show results, right? If you go back, this horse, ran in a Suburban at Saratoga last year, 1.25 miles, not that far off Crouppy, 4th place, but 1.25 lengths behind. Ran in the Birdstone, was pulled up, walked off. No problem with that. That was against Next. He wasn't beating Next in that field. And then there must have been an issue. You had the long layoff. Comes back at Oaklawn. I mean, not a terrible race, even race, finished 5th. Another line, a layoff line, comes back at 1.5 miles in the Temperance Hill. Not terrible, 3rd place finish. And then, the Ben Ali, again, a fourth place finish. The question is, does this horse have anything left? I'm taking a chance, third off a layoff, that you got enough pace up front. This is horse's last hurrah, maybe as an 8-year-old. And I think this horse is very live to hit the board here. So give me 5, Time for Trouble.
Hey, Flatterer, what's going on? Yeah, good show. That was a really good show. Good show last night too, David. You yesterday, you and Mike Saletta, that was great. And then last night, Justin, I caught a little bit of that. That was great too. All the different guests and stuff, and that was nice.
Yeah.
And all right, so David, you're on the Time for Trouble, the 5.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. 5. David is
21 morning line. Boom.
Now, I worry a little bit about Encino and Phileas. So Encino, what a nice horse, and it has shown the ability right here to rate. But that was also against a 62 group. At this level, I'm not sure that Encino can rate. And Phileas Fogg is very, very fast. And Phileas Fogg did rate going 10 furlongs and just pulling away last time out, which was super impressive. And like you said earlier, this horse is just doing phenomenal. And so I'm leaning this way, but I was just super curious about the 8-5 on the EE morning line for Star of Wonder, the 8. It's like on paper, it looks like one of the ones, but what is going on there with that 7-5 EE morning line, David?
Yeah, I know. And again, this is the most lately raced horse. He's facing a bunch of, seasoned veterans. A lot of these horses have, Time for Trouble's had 37 lifetime starts. Awesome Aaron, 33. You have horses 17 starts, 16 starts. So to me, I'm not sure. I think the great equalizer here with the 8 is the distance. Has stretched out to 1.1 miles before, but with no success, has won at 1.16 miles. And let's see, what's GSR on?
So I agree with Oldie, by the way. Like even though it says this horse can go longer, it does. I do question the distance for Star of Wonder a little bit. So on the bottom side, she was a sprinter. So, and she really wasn't all that great. I think this horse is going to get over bet. And, so Encino is the EquinEdge second pick. The EquinEdge long shot algorithm could have chosen, it really only could have chosen one horse. It or couldn't have chosen the 8, which is the EquinEdge top pick. But after that, it could have chosen anybody, and it chose the 10 horse. San Siro.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it chose. Look at the odds makers morning line. The EquinEdge long shot can choose horses 5-1 or above, and it gets first choice. And it chose the 10 amongst all these horses here.
Well, and again, the outside post, Scotty, doesn't really concern me. This start is at the top of the stretch, basically. So you've got a long run into the first turn to try to, establish position here. Yeah. And the horse has won at the distance. This is a distance specialist. Looks like 1 3/16 was competitive last time out. And it's only a 4-year-old, but you get a price on that horse. And I think the horse may look live here. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I can tell you, I'm looking at the new GSR, and it has Phileas Fogg 7 points the highest over San Siro. So it has the 1 is the top GSR, and then it has the 10 San Siro second. So San Siro's raced 11 times, earned $260,000. Morales has been aboard this horse the last 4 races. I'm surprised to not see him aboard, but Walsh and Saez jockey trainer combination are 23%.
Right.
So Pratt and Brad Cox are 31%. How about Phileas Fogg? Carmouche and Rodriguez in 6 tries have won 3 races.
Right. And the thing with Phileas Fogg, Scotty, and this horse has really improved. I mean, I could see this horse running very well today. The concern, like I had mentioned before, he's going to face pace pressure from both Encino and Awesome Aaron. And I don't, for Norm Cassie, look at Awesome Aaron's workout on May 10th and April 24th. This horse, a 6-year-old out of Practical Joke. The question whether Awesome Aaron is the mile and 3/16 is a question mark, obviously. But I think that with Phileas Fogg, it's not as much of a question mark. Phileas Fogg looks like he can run all day. The issue is, will he take too much pace pressure? Can he rate even further? I mean, if he did rate off the pace, but not obviously he was second, laying off a lone speed. Mama's Gold in that race, who was just a very, very fast animal. And, I figured once Phileas Fogg couldn't get the lead in that race, Phileas Fogg was done. But just made a nice move around the turn. Carmouche set perfectly and just demolished that field, almost 7-1. Yeah. So maybe the horse is just rounding the form. It wouldn't surprise me if this horse rates a little bit and it makes a big move and takes the lead again. I think this horse is in rare form.
What about the 9 Red Route 1? 6 wins in 26 races. Look what it did in the X6 Grade 3. It won by 4.5 lengths. I know it was only a field of 6, but that was pretty impressive. And that was a 72 group. It looks like this horse is kind of hit or miss. It didn't run good in the Razorback. It broke 12th of 14 horses. It was 27-1. Last time out, it was last away, broke slow. I mean, this horse is not a good breaker whatsoever. What do you make of this horse? It's the horse.
I know,
likely contender.
Right now, this horse. I'm not sure if Red Route 1 has lost a step or not. But the horse has absolutely no early speed. So the further you go, the more compromised this horse is. I mean, ran in the Pimlico Special last year and just really kind of ran evenly and it just didn't impress me. And the thing is, I get the feeling that the outside post is a spot this horse doesn't really want to be in. This horse won back on March 23rd of last year from a rail post, right? And also won March 22nd of this year in the Essex Grade 3 from a rail post. And the line is patient and knifed 3 wide. So this horse to me seems like the type of horse who wants to save ground inside and then weave to the outside and make a move. I'm not sure this horse is going to appreciate that outside post. So, I just think there's not enough early speed on this horse, and would be compromised coming down the stretch. But probably make a closing run. I would think more likely plug up for 3rd or 4th, in my opinion.
Yeah. This is a really tough race on paper, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Good race. Good betting race. Absolutely.
We actually didn't see. We both had the 7-horse Pridman, but we missed that race. It just finished, actually.
Did Pridman win?
No, it doesn't look like it. Looks like the 1 horse on the outside. Looks like the 7 had to settle for 2nd.
Wow.
12.26.
Okay, the big favorite goes down.
Did not see that one coming. Let's see here. Who's the 1? Cadeau d'Argent, 67-1. First-time starter.
What's the price?
It looks like 67-1.
Did you say 67-1?
Yeah,
That's a boom. That's a boom. Wow. Nice. Now, how often do you get a 60-1 shot or above in maiden special weights? That's the first-time starter. Usually, when these horses don't take any money whatsoever, when they're dead on the board, they've got no chance. So, it's horse racing.
Yeah,
anything can happen on any given day.
67-1. 8-horse field, 67-1. Yeah, first-time starter.
That deserves a hey now.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
Well, the thing is we talked about these 2 favorites being off layoffs, and look how dead on the board Ennistown was.
Connor.
This horse is absolutely dead on the board. Look at that.
Boy, Stormyville Farm,
And
Niles Seville
Privman
trainer,
got all that
60
action.
to 1.
But if you were to go like this, then look, this is what, like when you try to beat the bridge players, look, you do something like this, get rid of the 4 and 7 just in case. And then when you look at it, like, you're like, okay, wow, who knows what could happen. So.
Right. Exactly. Wow. The horse I can never come up with. It may be, it could have been a hunch play for me, but very unlikely because of the jockey, Tyler Connor. My grandson's name is Connor. So that's the only possibility that I really have that horse. When he sees that, and he'll say, Papa, why didn't you play that horse? The jockey is named after me. Or named after me. So I'm whatever. But yeah, that's a hard horse to come up with. Interesting how it affects that leaderboard in the NHC. I think a lot of people would have that horse. I wonder what kind of price. All right, so let's go back to the 12th. I know you're.
I'm gonna play 2 different horses in here. I'm gonna play. I think you have to play defensive here because I think you have to play against the 8. I think. And let's see here. So if you throw out the 3 and the 8, the top 2 picks, because maybe the 3 is a type of horse that needs a lead, and then the 8 horse maybe doesn't want the distance or isn't as good, then look what you're looking at. And then you're just looking at an absolute grab bag.
Correct.
And that's what makes this tough. And I think you have to play defensively because if somebody gets a price in here, you're going to be set back pretty far.
Yeah.
And I have 2 entries, so now just trying to figure out which.
Right.
If I had 3 entries, I wouldn't know which 3 to play.
Okay. While you're thinking, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Scotty.
Yeah, you're fine.
But we got an update on the leaderboard.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question and I'm going to see how good you are with these online contests. So that one horse being 67 to 1, we had 155 entries in the feeder.
Okay.
How many out of the 155 would you guess had the one horse there?
2.
Pretty good guess. Only 4. Yeah. So so I only moved down from 12th place to 13th. So
okay.
31. Let's see. We just got a chance to save $50-something. Was it $56? 58. I'm on Go Big Green, and the top 31 get in. So I'm liking how I'm looking today.
Yeah.
Even though I only got $2.10 on Privman.
Yeah.
We both did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really obviously I'm struggling here on this race, but Phileas Fogg, I mean, this one's just winning good, isn't it? Like it's been just doing so good. 8 wins in 16 races. I mean, this one just likes to win. I think I'm a little thrown off by this horse only because of this race here. Like I would have thought this horse was not normal, like meaning in a good way. But here in this race at 60 cents on the dollar, it ended up losing. But it rated here. If this horse can rate, but from that rail, is it really going to try to rate? I mean, there's a lot of speed in here. And if it doesn't rate, then does the 3 get an easy lead? Right? Encino.
Yeah. I can offer some feedback there. Knowing Kendrick, he's probably not rating, but if you look at that last race, it's really the only time the horse has ever even rated a bit. And it wasn't it was rating off a very fast horse. And maybe it was the speed. I don't recall Excelsior Day, but normally, speed has been real good on Aqueduct. And maybe it was just such a speed favoring track that your main speed just bolted out too quickly, and the one who inherited the lead, was helped by the track bias. So that could be the issue too. But I also think I'm more on the page that, or the conclusion with this horse, that this horse is getting better. And sometimes it gets scary. In 2024, Scotty, this horse was 6 for 9. Now, did get some off the turf. It got an off the turf, and also got some muddy tracks and sloppy tracks. And the horse seems to just relish an off track, and has won on the turf before. So I just think this may be just an improving type of horse that's going to be a factor in these distance races going forward. And look at Next. Next didn't start off so hot, and Next became some kind of legend in the distance races, right? So I'm getting that feeling with Phileas Fogg.
All right, I'm going with the 3 horse to go gate to wire.
With all that being said, now you went with this Encino.
Yep. I'm going to go with Encino
to go
gate to wire.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, hey, look at this race number 13. I mean, these are tough freaking races, aren't they?
Yeah. I went over this race briefly with Mike yesterday. And the one thing that I mentioned, Scotty, obviously we're dealing with the Black-Eyed Susan going mile and an 8th, grade 2. They're basically the fillies version of the Preakness. And let's cut to the chase. In my opinion, there's no world beaters. This is a very weak grade 2. The 3-year-old fillies this year are from hunger, in my opinion. I haven't. Besides Good Cheer. Okay, let's qualify that. Besides Good Cheer. There's not a lot of quality here. It's a weak crop, in my opinion. And, this race just makes it's so difficult because they all look pretty slow to me and they're not so good. So, but the one thing I mentioned on the show yesterday, I want no part of Liam in the Dust. I'm going to leave Liam in the dust. 3rd race off a layoff. Been disappointing her entire career. I mean, I think Rudy Brissett had high hopes for this horse. Now, can it improve? 3rd off a layoff? Yeah. If she won this race, would it shock me? Absolutely not. Not at 6-1. But I don't want any part of that horse. The horse is going to run well and probably finish 2nd or 3rd. Marty's Intention for Brad Cox. I always got to look at the Brad Cox horses. He's obviously has quality fillies here. He's got a large end clients, but I mean, comes from fairgrounds and the last 2 races stretching out and not really impressive to me. And so I'd be looking to beat that horse. I don't like the 2. Running and Gunning's got a shot. Not crazy. Replies got a shot to 7. The 6 has got a shot. And I'm back and forth all over the place with this race. So I just settled on a horse. Since Joel gave me such a good ride on a winner yesterday on the show with Mike, I'm thinking Rosario's going to get on a roll. He's a hot, streaky rider. He's either hot or cold. Give me Paris Lily. I'd love the workout on May 10th. Had caught the slop at Keeneland in the last race on April 6th and beat Liam in the Dust, just barely held on. At 1 16 stretches out today. Also tried the turf and that was okay. Maybe this is the horse for Brendan Walsh that's got more upside than some of the others. Yeah. And it's Godolphin. Godolphin puts their horses in spots where they can win normally. And Godolphin's been on a roll. And so give me 6 Paris Lily. I love the 8-1 morning lines. Just too tempting for me.
So I'm looking at the EquinEdge long shot. That's definitely what I'm looking at. I do think this horse on the class is a little bit light. The 9 horse I thought was interesting. This horse faced a similar group 2 back and ran pretty good. But I want this horse to prove more at the distance for me. This is the interesting one for me, the 2 horse. If you throw out the last race, this horse was in the grade 2 8 bells. This horse in 2 grade 2s, if you throw those out, this horse has got 2 straight wins, and I don't think the distance is going to be any problem for the coach. So also Margie's Intention. This one does look good, but I don't like how it's been right there and then not finishing, especially at 33-1 and 29%. Reply, the 7 horse with Irad, only 2 lifetime races, but that's pretty impressive what those horses done in those 2 races. So For Rapoli Stables, I think they're probably high on this horse, who's 3-1 in the EE morning line. But I'm leaning towards the 7, or it might take a chance on a horse like the 2-horse Princess Aaliyah. And I think I'm going to take that chance there. I'm going to go 2.
Okay. And I thought, and again, anybody that you pick in this race, I don't have a problem with. I'm not going to argue, talk anybody off any horse in here, because I thought Princess Aaliyah, if you go back to that Valley of Vipers race at Oaklawn, that's a pretty good race. And then, comes that 8 Bells. I mean, I thought that was a very competitive 12 or 11 horse field. And, she was just way over her head. Face is weaker here. And I can see this horse running well, Scotty.
Yeah.
I think you're going to come down to stretch in this race, and you're going to have 5 or 6 horses across the track.
Fully. But
and you're like, okay, I think you're going to have.
We're seeing that a lot, actually, though, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing that with a lot of the races we're looking at right now. They are tough. There's nothing easy about any of these races. I do think Reply is going to run a big race, lightly raced, but I think this horse is probably very talented. So, we'll go there. Okay, let's get to Gulfstream Park race number 3. You are on the 2-horse Go Big Green, and Go Big Green is 2-1 right now. Worldly Beauty is 8-5, but this one I just don't fully trust. I know it's dropping in class a little bit, but it's not really close in these races. Now it's switching surfaces. It's okay. These ones, I don't know. Kosea, I think this one has a chance of being first, second, or third. I like that. Darling Darley. This one, it won easily, against that non-winners of 3 lifetime group, then moved up in class to the 62.5 Open Company and got second against similar. So if that one continues on, but got to do it for a new trainer, Patrick Chang, who we have no information on. So, but that one's getting bet as well. Will that prove to be a good claim? We'll see. But right now at 12-1, Kosea, my pick, looks pretty good.
Yeah. And I just want to, I've got to respond to Oldie. Crafty, witty type of statement there, Oldie. Don't like Reply at all. No Reply at all. Okay, I know where you're going with that. Is that a Phil Collins song? Yeah, No Reply at all.
No, he
all right,
Oldie.
I think that's
like
where
Reply. He doesn't like the 7-horse.
Oh, so that's where, knowing his wittiness and music affinity, I believe he was going there. Oldie, were you going there with Phil Collins or no?
No, he just doesn't like Reply.
Okay.
Yeah, he just doesn't like Reply.
Okay.
I mean, maybe he's right. The horse has only raced 2 times. I don't know. I'd be curious to know why he doesn't. Let's see here. Don't reply to all when responding to an email either. So he doesn't. He doesn't
like right when everybody responds to don't. Right. I gotcha. I gotcha, Oldie.
I'm trying to think. Is there a bet in here on the 1-horse? And the one's going to have an easy lead.
You wouldn't be concerned with that wagering that you're proposing, that wager you're proposing on a horse who we don't know how it's going to run on the main track.
No, I have no doubt that the horse is going to take to the main track, and the dirt's going to hold better than what the synthetic does going 2 turns. I have no doubt about that. Whether this horse is any good at all anymore, that I don't know. So we'll see. All I know is the horse was 76-1, 78, and 88 the last 3 races. So now the horse is 14-1.
Right, but
the horse wasn't meant in those races. So you have part of getting long shots is forgiving past races.
Right. And Scotty, don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing your pick by any means. This is a value. The one's an NHC type of horse, right?
It is.
Yeah,
it is. I'm just trying to figure out. Like, I don't see the 1-horse necessarily winning, but it, maybe doing a trifecta, 2, 3, 5 with 2, 3, 5 with 1. Something like that. Why not? Or an exact.
Yeah, sure. I think the one's going. I actually think the one is going to outrun her odds, but I'm not sure it's going to result in a victory. I'm thinking the one has a decent shot to run third and beats one of those 5-2 or 3-2 or 8-5 shots.
Field of 7 headed up the chute and approaching the starting
So
gate. Final call for your wagers.
1, 2, 3, 4 races to cover. We've got 2 races at Belmont at Aqueduct, and we have 2 races at Gulfstream Park, 8 and 9. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And as going forward, we'll try to get through all 4. I may have to depart.
Looks like we have a moment. We do have a late rider change being announced for the first time. Jockey Luca Panici has been excused from the balance of his rides today. If you would please turn to the 7th race for a jockey change. In race number 7, jockey change on 4, Nana's Corn Muffin. Make the rider Leonel Reyes. Leonel Reyes rides 4, Nana's Corn Muffin in race number 7.
So, Oldie, you're flying in incognito today. You have a United. You have a United plane. United paint out there, so nobody
field of
recognizes
7 at 1 mile. The bettors think it's only a field of 3.
I
However,
thought
as
Qatar
3 of them
might
are
have
dominant in the
belonged
betting
to a
market, the 2, 3, and 5. Worldly Beauty making her main track debut today. This is a substantial class drop for the daughter of Commissioner. If she takes to the surface, she'll be double tough here. 9-5 on Go Big Green. She was another one until recently had not had main track form, but her main track form has been good. Darling Darley with the barn change under Rajiv Mirage is the third choice.
To see how that horse runs.
Last 2 up, Kiki Love and Band of Roses.
Scotty reaching out for a long shot in a 7-horse field. I love it.
Band of Roses to the outside gate. 1 mile the journey. They're all in line. And they're off. Darling Darley was bounced around between horses. Ridden toward the inside, Cosi is looking for some forward position. The favorite's away in good shape, Worldly Beauty, and she's going to charge to challenge Worldly Beauty for a narrow lead. Cosi is away in second. Out in the center, that's Kiki Love, who's an early third. Go Big Green is into 4th. Racing on her outside is Darling Darley. 2 back to current situation, and Band of Roses is last.
Horse is relaxed.
They complete the opening quarter behind long shot Cosi, who struts her stuff with a 3-length lead. Worldly Beauty is now into second from Kiki Love, who's out in the center in third. Darling Darley races as a team with Go Big Green. They're 4th and 5th. 3 better than current situation, who's well clear of Band of Roses. Half a mile from the wire. The leader is Cosi by 2. Here's Jaramillo on Worldly Beauty, taking up the slack second. Worldly Beauty going on the move now, and she's up to challenge for the lead with 3 furlongs to go. Kiki Love is now third. Racing hard at it from 4th. It's Go Big Green. Darling Darley is equally working hard while racing into 4th now as they pass the 5/16. So of the 3 favorites, Worldly Beauty doing by far the best work. She runs to the top of the stretch on top by 2. From the outside, it's Kiki Love. From the inside, it's Cosi. Then Go Big Green. Darling Darley just grinding home on the outside. They're off the turn. They're in the drive. It's Worldly Beauty who has this to throw away. Worldly Beauty by 4. There's nobody who can get her with an 1/8 of a mile to go. If you back Worldly Beauty, you can go collect. Even money is easy money. Wow. Worldly Beauty on the strength of the class drop. The surface change was no problem.
You're going to get that 2 up a second. Come on, baby.
Kiki Love holds on to second. Go Big Green third. Darling Darley a bit disappointing. She was 4th in race 3 at Gulfstream.
Qualifier position, but let's move on to the next race.
All right.
Easy win.
Easy win there. Okay, David, we've got Belmont at Aqueduct. We've got race number 5.
Okay, Belmont race Aqueduct. You almost led me down that Belmont path. Race number 5, and I had to handicap this, and there's a horse in here I love. We're going 6.5 furlongs on the dirt course, claiming a $20,000 claimer, and I'm just going to, if you want to run the race similar to that, I'm just going to go right into my picks here.
Yeah,
I am on the top Scotty pick here, Kunshin Bridge. This horse has been facing tougher last year. and had a race. They had a layoff, and the last race off a layoff on May 3rd was a decent race. I wasn't expecting a race that good from such a long layoff for this trainer.
Right.
And, now picks up Manny Franco, positive jockey change, does need a little bit of pace, but gets that post. That's good, and faces a weaker group today. And I don't think there's, I think the other horse is Brew Pub. Testu's got a shot here, but it's one of the three, in my opinion. And I bet before on Kunchenbridge, and this horse is, I think, maybe in the proper level, and is going to, with that race under his belt, and proof here enough to run these down. So lock me in on the 8 Kunchenbridge.
All right, let's see here.
Scotty, just give me 2 minutes. I just want to. I just have to run it, and we'll be back.
Okay, David's on the 8 horse, and let's see here. So this one beat a 58 group here, going 7 furlongs. It's 6.5. It's weird because. And it could be a coincidence, but at 6.5 furlongs, this horse has never run good on the 2. And I don't know what that is. It only has 8 wins in 55 races, 17 seconds and 9/3. It's raced at Aqueduct one time, did okay for Dutro. I don't know. For me, it's not all that great, although it's right there in the race simulator. So, but it certainly deserves a look. Brew Pub. Here's one that needs to be near the pace. And if you run the first call, it could get caught inside against some faster horses. So it's the top EquinEdge pick. It's not one that, where do you see where this horse could sits and then just finishes? I don't know. I don't really love that. The 4 horse is going to be part of the pace. Seems a little cheap to me. So I'm not really loving that. And the system could have chose, it's not 4, 5, and 6. So don't love that. That kind of leaves me with the 7 and the 8, Lost in Rome. And this one, it ran better, but it was only 4 other horses going 9 furlongs. Now cuts back its claim. Rob Atras is 16% off the claim. The horse in 7 tries has 29,000 earned. It's done pretty well at Aqueduct as well. And, for me, it looks like the 7 or the 8 horse. I like David's horse as well. David's horse got the top win. Talking about the 8 horse, Kunchenbridge. Top SOR, top GSR, EE second pick. It looks like early on it's faster than the 7, which could mean something because it's putting pressure on the 7 on the inside. Yeah, I got to go with David. David's been pretty on fire. I would watch David's picks. David's been pretty darn good here. But I'm going to go with David on Kunchenbridge and Manny Franco.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're on a couple of same horses today. Yeah. All right, here we go. I just looked at the leaderboard. I feel a little better now. I did finish 18th, so I did get my seat into the qualifier. So let's get a roll. I need back-to-back scores. Yep. Okay. So let's go. You want to go to the 7th?
Field here, race number 7.
Sure.
When we look at the first call, I always sort the pace first. This horse can rate. The 5 can rate, no problem. The 1 horse can rate. So I don't think we're looking at any of that. It's just a matter of who are the best horses. When you run the race to the finish, every horse is within a length and a half. So what are your thoughts in here?
Yeah, with the unfortunately, Scotty, the 2 horses I liked originally were both scratched. So I've got to reset here. And it looks like, let me refresh the screen. So the pace advantage here is with Valtalina, 64 pace in the next
Not
the
by
closest
much.
one.
Not by
No,
much.
Embraceable Gal. Yeah. Even though it's a short field, you have, I think there's 4 horses who can win. I don't like racing colors. So take your pick. I just don't want these fillies rarely. Now, again, because there's a small field, this conclusion may go out the window, but these horses usually don't win 2 in a row, these older fillies and mares. So, and I know it may be logic that too many horse players don't agree with, but I think it's a percentage thing that it's unlikely that somebody's going to win 2 in a row. So that would lead me to probably avoid the 5 horse. Embraceable Gal, I'll give that horse some pressure. Embraceable Gal just won her last. So I think, to me, it's either between Mama's Got a Gun, the 3, or Clover Street. I'm a big Mark Cassie fan. It is a tough decision for me. I don't know what happened in the last race with Clover Street finishing dead last, maybe just overhead. But, she's run more competitively in other 45 claimers. But with that being said, I think if you go 2 back on Mama's Got a Gun, the 3 horse, March 23rd, if she can repeat that effort, I think she's a likely winner. So give me the 3, Mama's Got a Gun.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why you would say that. I was looking at this horse very carefully, and they added blinkers 2 back, and the blinkers worked. And then something happened from the rail last time out against a similar group. What was interesting is the horse didn't move up in win percentage against that group. So it must have been a tougher group and was awkward in stride. And then it was 4 to 5 path, pretty much didn't race. And so not the best breaker in the world, but was bumped hard at the start 2 back and then won that race. So this looks like a tough race on paper. I'm going to take a chance. I was just going to say I was going to take a chance on this 7 horse because I'm looking at this race for the first time, but 3 wins in 41 races. That makes me not like this horse had all sorts of trouble as well and runs second. It makes me not like the 3 horse either when I look at that horse. This one here, this one's not been bet, to be fair. The 4 horse, the EquinEdge Long Shot. I know it only has 2 wins in 19 races, but it's been facing, much tougher horses, and it's getting a questionable field here. This one does not seem classy enough, the 1 horse. I know the 6 is scratched. I just sent that message to Brad as to that it hasn't
updated.
Yeah, it hasn't updated. So when you look at this horse, if you look at what this horse has done off the layoff, it faced a 68 group 2 back, 3 back, and didn't run. Then it faced a 68 group and it ran better. It finished, and then it dropped to a 60 group, and look what it did. Now it's 27%, like its 4th race off the layoff. It seemed to like the extra distance. I mean, it really does seem like the 5 horse is the horse to beat, doesn't it?
Yeah. And again, maybe that strategy and not playing a horse that will win 2 in a row, maybe not applicable here. So yeah, to me, she's a likely winner.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 5 over the 4. I'm going to play the 5 on both tickets. The 5, and I love the post. The 5 is going to just be sitting off of whoever decides to go, or the 5 can go, and should be just ready to go and should run a really good race. That's what it looks like to me. So I like the 5 here, Valtalina. So I'm on that one.
Okay, so Scotty's on the 5, and I'm on the 3. Mama's Got a Gun. Okay.
All right,
2 more.
And then number 7 is race number 8 at Gulfstream Park. Let's get out there.
Okay, race number 8 at Gulfstream.
And let's run this thing.
Sure. Let me just grab my notes here. There, where the hell did it go? So 8th race at Gulfstream. We got 1 mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. And this is another wide open race. I'm going to be looking for a bit of a price here. I've got a couple of chalks earlier, so we may need to increase that bankroll. And I'm just going to get to the chase here, Scotty. I decided to land in a wide open race where I think you could have 5 different winners. I decided to land on a Salvatore Prince. And I heard Panici's off, so I don't know who's on. So let me just look that up. We have a jockey now. Panici's still named. So, but this horse, the reason I'm landing on this horse is that he stays at the same level. Had won the last out on the turf the last time out, April 6th, with a closing trip at 9-2. And the race before that on turf was a decent third. And now it goes back to synthetic. The prior 2 races, he ran on the synthetic, Tapeta there. And they weren't great races, right? But has won. Last year, this horse won over the Tapeta in a 25,000 beaten claimer. So the horse can handle it. It's 3 for 6 over the Tapeta course. So with that being said, I like the outside post going 2 turns on this Tapeta course. And I think there's 3 or 4 others you can use. The 3 is live, obviously 9-5. I thought Dracan. I thought Navy Cross was live. So out of those 4 horses, I want the value. So give me the 8 Salvatore Prince for Rowan Creighton. And somebody other than Luca Panici. We don't know who that's going to be at this point.
Okay. Let's take a look at the 3 horse. The 3 has been running very, very good. It seems to have a really good style for the synthetic. That was a tougher group last time out. It beat a group similar 3 back. So it's done very, very well since its layoff. And but the problem for me with a horse like this, like, it only has 4 wins in 48 races. And so, and they can rattle them off. There's no question about it. But like, I don't love that. That's for sure. Navy Cross, this is an interesting horse here for sure. This one faced easier last time out, but it did it nicely. It faced 11 other horses for $10,000, and now it comes up to $20,000. I think this one is going to be ignored probably a little bit. And it's 6-1 on the EE morning line. That doesn't scare me because you've got competitive horses like the 3 Clear Destination. How about Tap It 3 times? 7-2 on the EE morning line. Looks like the speed of the race. Let's look at the jockey trainer combinations. Very low on the 5, so I'm not going to take the 5. But the rest of them aren't terrible. Probably get rid of the 7 here. I really will look at the jockey trainer combinations very carefully. Carlos, David, and Vasquez. I don't like that the 6 horse is only 5% to win and 7-1 EE morning line. So I think this horse might be worth trying to beat, although the jockey trainer combination is very, very good. So I'm going to pass on the 6. The EquinEdge long shot. I guess it could have chosen the 1. It could have chosen the 8. It chose the 4, Swashbuckle, which is super interesting. So I mean, there's just nothing on paper to like about this horse, so I'm not really sure what the EquinEdge long shot's looking at. I mean, Clear Destination looks good other than the 4 wins in 48 races. Navy Cross, 4 wins, 6 seconds in 19 races. And I look at this horse, and it does seem to have some back class. And so maybe this horse's form reversal here with the new connections, and maybe this horse is going to do very well for 20,000. I'm going to go with the 2.
Okay, Scotty's on the 2. Navy Cross. Okay. And we got one more to wrap up. Perfect timing. We're approaching 2:15. All right. So lock you in on Navy Cross, Mr. McKeever. All right. We got one more to wrap up the qualifier. And I just put all my picks in. And so 9th race at Gulfstream, we've got a 5-furlong sprint on the turf. Optional claimer 25, and it's, in my opinion, just a weak field. Your likely favorite is Tap Gold. And let me just pull up my EquinEdge pace metric. Let's see what we got here. So Street Rod is got the highest pace metric, but I'm not really sold on this horse. Again, third race off a layoff, could improve, but the last two were just even races. And to me, I would prefer Tap Gold over the one. The horse will be sitting second off that pace, but yeah. I'll cut to the chase on here for time reasons. That I just think that Sousa Summer, the 6 horse, even though the form Sousa Summer has his form is off. Easy for me to say, and I don't know what that horse was doing on March 5th, being entered in a mile 70-yard Tapeta race. But the big thing with here is just a drop down in class, going down from that allowance race at Keeneland, which was a 68 SOR, faces a 62 here. I just think this horse is going to be a little closer to the pace at this very weaker level. So give me just on a class edge here, Sousa Summer. And I think if you had a second entry, the logical one is Tap Gold 3. And Red River Rebel is live, but I don't know, just something about that horse. I just think that horse will be closing and probably likely to get second or third. So give me Sousa Summer, the 6.
All right, so let's see where this 8's going to play, because on paper, that's who I'm liking.
Okay.
And the 1, 3, and 5 are going to be going, and the 8's just sitting right there. And the 7 is and Unwish. The 7 is interesting, but and the race simulator says this horse can close, but it's never really shown that it can close. It has been facing easier horses, and it got out kicked against tougher horses. So. And the race simulator has this horse closing. So super interesting. The 3 horse Tap Gold certainly seems like a major player at this 5 furlongs. Let's look at the pace. If you look at the pace of the first call, the 1 is very, very fast Street Rod, and but does not seem classy enough to be able to hold on to this. 5 is fast, seems to need the lead for its best. I'm going to play against that one as well. Paramio, like maybe this one second, it was kind of I don't think it really has any turf breeding from what I can see. So I think it's going to show some speed. So I'd probably get rid of that. Tap Gold can rate a little bit, but from the inside, is it going to sit? It could. It could sit. It rated here on the synthetic a little bit, but on the turf, it rated a bit here against a similar group, stocked off the layoff. 3 looks like a player for sure. I'm going to get rid of the 1, get rid of the 5. Sousa is an interesting horse just from a class perspective, David. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, that's the only reason I'm picking it. I mean, the form is off lately. But Scotty, I don't mean to interrupt. Finish your pick. I have to bolt.
Get out of here.
Yep. Thank you so much, guys.
All right.
Thank you for listening in. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck today, everybody. Enjoy your Preakness weekend, and we'll see you over the weekend in some fashion. Take care, everybody. Right. Thanks again.
Okay. We'll see you.
All right. See you.
David Harrison, 2022 NHC champ. And David told me early on that he was going to have to go. But we got one more race to cover here. What other races are coming up? We got Gulfstream Park race number 4. So how about we just finish this one up, and then we'll watch Gulfstream Park race number 4 together, and then we'll call it. Let's see here. I think the 3 is a major player on the inside. I don't love the inside post, but it's going to require Gonzalez to be conservative. And to be honest with you, Gonzalez is not conservative. He's very aggressive. And so will he send early on? And I don't know if that's a smart thing. This one could get carried a little bit wide I am definitely worried about the 8 horse, but it should get a very good trip. And by far the class of the field is David's pick. And David's been on fire this morning. And he finished 18th in the feeder. It's not the best breaker in the world, but it is absolutely classy. I don't love David's pick here. I don't hate it. The 7 horse And You Wish. This one's very sneaky to me. It's lightly raced. Zayas jumps aboard. Paco Lopez was aboard for the first 3. Zayas might give this horse a very relaxed, chilled trip. It looks like this horse can relax a little bit. It broke 7th from the rail and won. So you have to have talent to do that in its first start. Then it moves to an optional claiming of 75,000. These are top of the line horses. Then it gets second. Then it goes into a state bred, because it's a Florida bred, non-gridded stakes race, and it ran okay. It didn't run bad, but look what it did. It had to go. It went from 5 furlongs in the synthetic to 8.5 furlongs on the turf. It's an interesting spot to put the horse, to be honest with you. So I'm not going to be surprised. So I'm going to play 2 tickets. I'm going to play the 7 on one and the 8 on the other, is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play 7 on one and 8 on the other. All right. They are still in the paddock for race number 4. So let's go out there. Eastern Extension, the 2 horse. So when I'm handicapping, I like to just look at the SOR and just look at this area here, the SOR, win percentage, GSR, and compare it with today. So the horse is facing similar. Its win percentage goes up, and it draws the inside, and it got 3rd by 2.5 lengths. I mean, it's one of the ones, right? It doesn't get the pulse going. It's good. This is probably an easier field than what was last time, and it appears that way. So, it's okay. Nothing great. It's not like something I'm going to bet my lungs out on, even though it's 22% to win. What is interesting, though, is look at the pace advantage the 7 horse National Secret has. It's pretty big pace advantage. And so, and it's cleared before, though, but not against a level so easy. But this horse has just been stopping. And a lot of times just a matter of horses have breathing problems. This is a risk. I'm not surprised it's 46%, but look at here. It dropped from a maiden special weight down to 35,000, went up to 32% to win. But that SOR drop wasn't that significant. So that race might have come up a little bit tough. Now it's dropping to a 42 group, so it's much easier. The win percentage goes up, and the GSR is the same. I mean, let's just see if it gives back any. I mean, look at all these horses that are closing. So, man, I mean, this is a very, very tough race. It really is. Like, I don't know that I could trust a horse like this, even though it's got a big pace advantage. It's dropping big in class. It's a little scary for me. So then you're looking at the 4 horse. Live to Ride. Coming back at the same level. First race off of a short break. It broke from the 11 post here, going 8.5 furlongs. And it's a tough read. I mean, it's all over the place. They got this horse on the turf, going 2 turns, synthetic 2 turns, and then they come back and they sprint the horse. Is this really what this horse wants? I mean, it might. Like, maybe it wants to sprint on the synthetic. It looks like this horse can run good on turf. It's got a really good number. The breeding is pretty phenomenal in this horse, but it's just obviously got its issues. It's been right there. Other than this race here, and it went on the shelf for a short time, so something probably happened here. It came back and ran pretty good. So, it needs to be near the lead for its best, it looks like. It did close a little bit last time out. Then you have, what about this 3 horse, first time starter? Look at this. The race simulator says this horse is going to be closing like a champ and maybe take the fresh face. 2 of 43 here. That's all you really get. It's not really very clear. Brady is 4% with first-time starters. as far as the jockey trainer combination, Brady and Gill, they're 0 for 1. But even look at the 2. The jockey trainer combination of Kathleen O'Connell and Reyes is only 8%. So they're not winning often. Spit the Bit, not a good name for a horse you're trying to get to win, but it's only had 2 lifetime races. And it doesn't look all that great either, right? What a tough race this is. All right. Yeah, they're on the track. There's a look at the 3. 88, first time starter. Looks pretty good. I'm just interested to see what this favorite does now. It looks like an absolute grab bag. Wide open race. I'm trying to find a price, but I don't know that I find one. This one seems to need the lead for its best. It doesn't really seem like a horse that's going to come from behind. 4 is 9 to 5. There's, you know, there's 3 horses getting bet here, not surprisingly. Eastern Extension, the 2, and we talked about this one. Looks okay. It improved a little bit on the drop here, and it's facing a little bit easier here. I don't know if there's any way to make any money on this race. Do you trust the 7? There's a look at the 6 horse. 11 to 1 on the 6. Spit the Bit. You know, I will say this. A lot of times, and look at the jockey upgrade. In a race where the 2, 4, and 7 is like all 3 of them don't look like winners. And then all of a sudden you get a jockey upgrade like this. And then horses can, like this, like young horses can really start improving pretty dramatically. And that was the first race on the synthetic for this horse last time out. So, I mean, it wasn't a terrible performance. It lost by 6.5, but, Sano gets Zayas to ride. And the jockey trainer combination's 16%. How about the jockey trainer combination? It's only 4 samples, but of Castro and Morales. And they're 50%. They've won 2. And this horse really improved off of the short layoff the minute they put this horse sprinting on the synthetic. So, yeah, I would probably lean here and maybe I give a long shot look to the 6 horse. That's probably where I would go if I had to make a bet. And I've been known to make a bet. Maybe I'll make a bet. But they just stepped onto the synthetic course. There's your big favorite at even money. Honestly, to me, that's dead on the board. I mean, a horse like this is probably supposed to be 2 to 5 or 3 to 5. But I mean, this horse, most likely, this horse has a breathing problem. That's the likelihood. And the level matters, but still. All right, this will be our last race, race number 4. By the way, the first race.
Approaching the starting gate, Rainbow 6 approaching $120,000. Last chance for your wagers.
Which is going to go off in about 40 minutes from now, 35, 40 minutes from now. Race number 7 is coming up in 6 minutes. As we've got race number 4 here at Gulfstream Park. Maiden claiming 17.5. A purse of 29,000.
The horses are at the gate.
5.5 furlongs.
It's now post time.
I like the 4 horse at 2 to 1.
Rainbow 6 time here in South Florida on this Friday afternoon. The race favorite is even money. It's outside National Secret.
Late. We'll see what
2 to 1 on Live to Ride. 5 to 2 on Eastern Extension.
King that horse in the exotics, but we'll see what happens here as we've got a field of
Deputy Tremont and Eastern Extension. The first 2 to go up. Here's 88 going up next.
There's a look at the 3, 88. That's the EquinEdge long shot. First time starter at 14 to 1.
Waiting for Spit the Bit and National Secret. Spit the Bit, the son of Uncle Mo. Two, 4, and 7 dominate the betting market here. National Secret, son of Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh, who will complete the line. 5.5 furlongs to the journey. They're in the gate. They're off. Poor start, 8. Quick start, National Secret, who blasts off the mark from the high draw and will clear all the inside traffic with no problem at all. It's National Secret in front early. Eastern Extension rushing to catch up into second. From between horses, Live to Ride. Spit the Bits out in the middle. The two at the back, Deputy Tremont and 8. Half a mile away, it's National Secret and jockey Miguel Vasquez fleet of foot on the top end. They're still 4 lengths in front of Eastern Extension, who's second. Live to Ride on the outside is now third. Up to the outside, 8 fourth. Dropping back a touch is Spit the Bit, and Deputy Tremont is outgunned. National Secret has not seen a rival since the start of the race. He's 6 in front, a quarter of a mile from home. Eastern Extension trying to bridge the gap, so too Live to Ride, then Spit the Bit, and they're on their way home. National Secret, he has an eighth of a mile more to get, and he's 4 lengths in front. From the inside, Eastern Extension is now second, back to third, Live to Ride. Final 16th of a mile, National Secret. He's getting a bit fatigued, but the good news is he's fatigued with a huge lead. National Secret went gate to wire. He routs him here. He wins by 6. Up for second is Live to Ride, back to third, Eastern Extension in 104.
All right, the big favorite does get the win. 7-4 is your order of finish. The 2 horse held on for third, but the EquinEdge long shot gets the win. As far as Pimlico race number 7, all right, let's see. I think there's some speed in this race with the 1 and the 11. And I think they both seem to need the lead for their best. If we run the race simulator, you want to see who's closing. And it looks like 2-7-4. I like the EquinEdge picks. Army Officer. Let's see here. Blame the Tux. I've always liked this horse. Only 3 wins in 15 tries, but you know, the GSR goes back up on the 7. I like the 7-2. 7-2. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys tuning in for David Harrison and myself. We appreciate that. Good luck today. Of course, we've got tournaments. You got the Black Eyed Susan tomorrow. You've got the Preakness, and it's going to be it's a great card. So I will be playing in that tournament tomorrow. It looks like so. I wish you all the best, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.